In the ecosphere of innovation advancement on the occasion of International Women's Day 2022, Indira Gandhi Delhi Technical University for Women (IGDTUW) has been established in May 2013 as a non-affiliating teaching and research-led university at Delhi to facilitate and promote studies, research, technology, innovation, entrepreneurship, and incubation in emerging and contemporary areas of professional education among women, with focus on engineering, technology, applied science, management, entrepreneurship, and its allied areas. IGTTW is a premier institute, a university in our country which strives to educate and nurture its students to meet dynamic and highly competitive demands of the industry. IGTTW is performing one of the most important tasks for the society by providing young women with higher education. We at IGDTW continuously striving to empower our students since we strongly believe an enlightened woman is a source of infinite power. Now, I would like to welcome Dr. V.K. Arora, Sir, CEO, IGDTW Innovation Foundation, Incubation Center supported by Government of City of Delhi. Dr. Arora is a technocrat with PhD in entrepreneurship and 20 years of experience. He is a learner and practicing the revamp of entrepreneurship, startup, and venture development. Sir has conducted various workshops pan India and has decent understanding of entrepreneurial and startup ecosystem of India. Sir, now I welcome you on board.
Thank you, Rahul. Thank you. Thanks for the warm welcome. Presently, I can see that two of our experts, Nimicha ma'am and Runa ma'am, also have joined. So, ma'am, welcome and happy Women's Day to you and to all the participants from Indira Gandhi Delhi Technical University and from other universities who have joined for this particular occasion. First of all, I'm going to start with a basic introduction about the Innovation Foundation. You know, this Innovation Foundation, the university has had established in the year 2016 as a Section 8 company with the motive to promote women through women entrepreneurship, that is maybe through women empowerment, women enlightenment. And first focus was to the students of IGDTUW. As you all must be knowing that Indira Gandhi Delhi Technical University is the first government technical university in India which is providing all kind of technical education, especially in the lines of the engineering. Right now we are having 4 different branches of engineering plus architect program, and the MBA department is also there which is offering undergraduate and postgraduate programs. We are also providing the degrees of doctorate in the form of PhD. Recently, we have also incorporated a different separate department of AI, which we have included along with the existing departments of computer science, electronics, mechanical, and information technology. So, this particular incubation center, which was established 5 years back, was basically inaugurated by our Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi, Manish Sisodia ji. At that time, the government of Delhi, they have established this kind of incubation center in 6 different universities. And later on, this was also extended to 5 more universities, which are there in the region of Delhi state. So, with this was having a motive that we should promote entrepreneurship in the region of the state Delhi. We are having our board of directors with the Honorable Vice Chancellor Ma'am's presence. We are having Dr. Aru Sharma, who is working in our incubation center as a managing director. He is also there as a professor of IT department. We are having 3 senior professors from different departments. Dr. Ranu Kadi ma'am is from Applied Sciences, and Dr. Jasdeep ma'am is from Electronics department, and Dr. Manoj Soni is from Mechanical department. So what we can see with the prima facie that we are having in our board members senior professors from all the departments of our university. So this incubation center, which is in the form of Section 8 Company Innovation Foundation, is also having VMO, that is Vision, Mission, and Objectives. So here we will just talk about the vision and objectives which we are having, which we are carrying for the society. Vision is basically, you know, that in the year 2016 only, central government, our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji has also started Startup India concept, and the main motive was this, that the youth of the country, the youngsters of the country, students of the country, they should not only seek about the job, but they should also provide or create jobs from others also. Because understanding the population of a huge country where democracy is there, it was busy, it was having the impression that later on it may have some kind of problems to create jobs for all people, for the complete population of our country. So we are also being a stakeholder, a part of that particular reason. We are serving as a national platform for innovation and business incubation. We are also having objectives, and objectives, as you know, these are the smart goals. We are having different kind of objectives for every financial year. So here also the main objective is this, that we are promoting women entrepreneurs. So the question in the mindset of the young people are there, that why to start and how to start. You all must be knowing how we are and what we are doing at Innovation Foundation, but definitely when you talk about this why to start, it is for you as a student. If you right now, if you have some mindset of entrepreneurship, then today or maybe tomorrow, maybe after a few years, whenever you think that you want to start, it will definitely serve the purpose not only of yours but also of your family, society, and thereby the country. The main point is this, that when you go and you do a job, it is for you only. The big to big multinational company or the transnational company where you serve, if you serve there for 40 hours, for 40 years or for 30 years, and then after, if you ask someone, say your coming generation, to be deployed over there as an employee, it becomes a difficult task. But when you start your own company, and your ending point actually becomes the beginning point for your coming generations. I'm talking about your children. When they grow up, they can also join your company, and they can also replace you. So here, when you start your own venture, you are creating it for your complete generation. But when you go for being an employee, it is only for you. So this is the main reason that why we actually go and we start any business venture. And the next point comes, that how to start. As you have already seen the objectives of the Innovation Foundation, we are always supporting, facilitating for the aspirant women entrepreneur, and we help you in preparing yourself, that is motivating yourself, preparing yourself on the different ways of IQ, EQ, SQ, and AQ. Then after, if you are having a business idea, it is well and good how you can groom up that particular business idea. That is the part which we cover. If you don't have a business idea, how business ideas are generated, through design thinking, through cognitive thinking, to entrepreneurial thinking. These types of steps are also we are handling in our pre-incubation steps. Then after, the validation of your business idea and the basic arrangement. So these all the things, ultimately we can say that entrepreneurial complete alertness that is providing, we are providing through Innovation Foundation. So the role of the incubation centers. Right now in India, we are having approximately 600 incubation centers all over the country. So we are also one of them. So when you start your venture, and after having some entrepreneurial development, you become a promoter and entrepreneur for some company. And then after, you create or you incorporate a platform, say private limited company, OPC, or maybe partnership firm. So that becomes a launching platform for you, which we say that it is your enterprise. And when you have your enterprise, you are having two options. Number one is this, that you can go in the open market, you can take office from wherever you want, and then after, you can start independently with the help of few of your mentors. And the second option is this, that you can also come to the incubation centers like us, where you will be provided many facilities, maybe soft intervention, hard intervention, and maybe personal interventions are also there, where we help you in accelerating your business, so that you can find a proper growth in the complete journey of your entrepreneurship. We are basically providing help in two different ways. Number one is the pre-incubation, and second one is the incubation. In the pre-incubation, we help you for the product development, product refinement. Here we also talk about the service-oriented products. And when the product is ready with minimum viable product, which we say, or the product line is ready, and you are ready to go for the market, then after, we take your company, we take your firm as an incubation in our incubation stage, making you as an incubator. And then after, we talk about the market development. We help you in product market fit. and kind of strategies where you prepare your go-to-market strategies, and along with that, you can also refine your product from minimum viable product to the minimum lovable product. So what kind of services we are providing in our incubation center? We are providing, as I was mentioning, that in pre-incubation stage, we help you in ideation, POC, POV, prototyping, minimum viable product, and how to pitch, means how to show yourself, your product, your company. These are all the things we are covering. And in the incubation, we are providing you majorly, primarily in the five different parts. Number one is the office space. We are providing both lockable and co-working space for to our incubatees, and all these spaces fully air conditioned modular kind of cubicles are there. Complete ICT facilities also there. If someone of you have already listed Innovation Foundation, you know we provide all kind of support by virtue of which you can connect the external world, means anywhere you can connect anytime. We share and we help our incubators to get space of the universities, such as state-of-the-art laboratories, discussion rooms, conference and seminar halls. And apart from that, we are also having a scheme known as the seed fund scheme, which is supported by Delhi government. We are having it for our pre-incubators as well for our incubators. For the pre-incubators, we are having provision of providing 1 lakh rupees as a grant, and for the incubators, we are having provision up to 10 lakh rupees as an investment, that is against equity, to the private limited companies of our incubators. We are providing consultancies. All kind of consultancies are available by very huge, pool of mentors in technology also, in business also, and in strategic kind of concepts also. We also regularly conduct different type of activities as such as workshops, business plan competitions, boot camps, mentorship sessions, pitch deck, and investors meet time to time. So these are the detailed facilities which we provide to our pre-incubators and to our incubators. You all must be knowing about it. So by now, we have trained or we have developed more than 5,000 girls all around the country, and this was through the types of different types of events which we have conducted in last 2 years with the help of GIZ. Presently, we are having incubators in 5 different batches. In the first batch, we were having 3 incubators. In the second batch, we were having 2. In the three batch, we were having 3. In the fourth batch, again, we were having 3. And this was the last batch, which has been admitted in our incubation center only 2 months back. Here we have helped 6 different incubators, which have been admitted in our incubation center. For the sixth batch of incubators, we have given advertisement in different social media and newspapers. The last date to apply is 25th March 2022. So if you are interested, you can simply log on to our incubation center's website, that is innovationfoundation.org. There you will find a link. Clicking that link and giving or filling the very small little details, you can apply in our incubation center. So this is all about our incubation center. So if you are having any business idea or any business venture and you want to be associated with us, being an pre-incubator or incubator, you can always contact me. So in today's event, we are going to conduct a workshop by 3 very important personalities, women personalities. And the first session which we are going to conduct, that is of Nimisha Singh ma'am. So I go back to Rahul. Rahul, you can start now with the sessions of Nimisha ma'am giving a introduction of ma'am.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for briefing us about the Innovation Foundation and the great work you and we are doing actually. Listening to it is very nice. Now, I would like to welcome and introduce Ms. Nimisha Singh, founder, The Good Life Projects, and National Marketing Council member, WICCI, a national business chamber for women, Women's India Chamber of Commerce and Industry. So, Ms. Nimisha is a stress management coach and founder of the Good Life Projects, a wellness initiative to nurture and instill positive mental health. An MBA graduate by education and ex-brand strategist by occupation, Nimisha has been seasoned corporate professional in the brand and marketing domain for over a decade in some of the most reputed organizations like Unilever, Axis Bank, OSHA International, SBI General, and many more. During her corporate stint, Nimisha has spearheaded by key in market launches, and 360-degree media communication, including TV, radio, print media, and digital media, and various activists. Nimisha is a stress management coach, certified in workplace stress management from University of California, Berkeley. She is a long-time mindfulness and yoga practitioner and a Yoga Alliance certified instructor and has a proven record in deploying the best techniques for stress management and productivity enhancement with many clients who have greatly benefited from her program. As part of corporate reach out programs, ma'am has conducted workshop immersion sessions by merging with corporate experience with mindfulness for effective stress management. Ma'am's workshops are aimed at reducing negative stress, enhancing productivity, and responsibility and improving mental well-being for participants and much more. Ma'am, we look forward for your thoughts and welcome you on board for today's event.
Thank you, Rahul, for that wonderful introduction. And thank you, Mr. Arora, for inviting me here. So am I audible? Is the video and the audio okay?
Yes, ma'am, everything is.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So today what I'll do is, it's a very different kind of a take. I'll be not talking much about business here. I'll be talking about something which I personally find to be something which all of us should be taking care of, which is emotional and mental wellness. So be it an entrepreneur or be a working professional, now this is something which impacts all of us and impacts our daily lives in multiple ways. So I'll just give you a brief intro, and I'm donning two hats currently. So I am a mindfulness coach. So I would rather put my initiative under a social enterprise angle. So that's what I strive to do through this initiative. Apart from this, I'm also a brand and marketing strategist, which means I'm right now also working with Axis Bank, and I'm leading the rural and the semi-urban initiatives at Axis Bank. So as Mr. Arora said, being an entrepreneur is a choice, but being an entrepreneur by mindset is something that you can inculcate right here, right now. So you can be an entrepreneur in your head, in the mindset that you have. And I'll just take you through some of my learnings through my corporate experience and through the initiative that I've taken under the Good Life projects and what I've learned. And I would like to share some of those with you. And to begin with, I'll just give you a brief idea of what mindfulness actually is. To make it very simple, mindfulness is nothing but just a state of being in the present moment with complete awareness and full acceptance. So when I say complete awareness and full acceptance and without judgment, so what that does to you is you are completely engrossed in the task at hand and you are completely responsible for whatever you have to deliver. So if I were to club it with the whole entrepreneurial mindset, mindfulness brings that action oriented mindset inside you, which leads you to take the task at hand in the present moment without having a baggage that you had from the past. So I'll just give you a small example how it works and how is it even beneficial for any one of us. So if you just take an example, you woke up in the morning and you woke up in the morning and the last day you had a big project to be delivered, or maybe some big idea you were trying to crack, but you were not able to. You woke up in the morning and you think, oh, I was not able to do that. Oh my God, what will I do today? You've already started the day with a baggage from yesterday. And suppose if there was something good that had happened yesterday, like, yes, I cracked an idea, I'll be moving on it today. You woke up this morning assuming that, oh, yes, today I'll do this with an expectation. So remember, there's a difference between having an expectation and having a set plan. Of course, you should have a set plan, but when you have this expectation, you're already boggled down with the pressure that you're putting onto yourself. What mindfulness does is removes the past, removes the future, brings you into the present moment and makes you accountable for that present moment so that you are able to deliver the task at hand in a better way. So this is what mindfulness is, how it impacts your mental and emotional health. So I'll just give you an example of what a marketeer's life is. And of course, it's not just a marketer life that I'll be talking about. the same thing happens across all professionals and even with entrepreneurs, because at the end of the day, we're all human beings juggling between different tasks. So some of the challenges that we face in our daily life when we're working on certain projects, with this constant pressure. So there is time that we're running up against. We have to deliver things on time. So there's this constant pressure in the mind to deliver when the time comes. So constantly your mind is working on solution, which is fair, which is fine. But please understand that we as human beings, we are not conditioned to be in a flight or fight mode for long. It's good for our survival, but when we get into this mode for way too long, what it does is adds to the stress on your physical level, on your mental level, and on your emotional level. Okay. The second thing that we all of us do is multitasking. So we have number of tabs open on our screen. We are working here and then we switch to the other task. We are we're doing some e-commerce thing, then we switch back and think, oh, I was doing some work, or maybe thinking of some idea, but in the middle you have your phone ringing. This multitasking, what is it expecting out of you? It is expecting certain level of energy from you on a physical level, mental level, and emotional level. So there are subtle levels under which you are operating and through which you are responding. So this is the second trigger. Now, the third thing that we see in our daily life is that we have this information overload happening. We have information coming from all sides, from all angles, all needing our attention, where to look for. We live in a data-driven world. So more so for marketeers, because that's where I have worked. So we work a lot with data. We work a lot with what the consumer wants, what do they want, how will the product be successful in the market. So all of this needs you to be present in the data and crunch the data, get meaningful output out of it. To be bombarded with so much of information again is another challenge that we face in our daily lives. Now, the fourth thing is once all of this is taken care of, at the end of the day, all of us are social animals. So we would need our share of engagements and interactions with people. So that also demands certain energy from us. And of course, if you have conflicts or if you have disagreements with people, so there is this layer of you also moving to that side to kind of pacify it. So one person donning so many hats in multiple areas, and most of women. And I'm not being gender biased here, because I am totally not of the opinion that being a woman or being a man is a very gender specific thing. It's about the masculine and the feminine inside each one of us. But by virtue of social conditioning, women, they by nature, by design, or by choice, whatever the reason may be, we are donning multiple hats, and we're responsible for multiple tasks, right from home to our offices to the kind of if you're running an enterprise, so that's a very demanding thing, because you need to start from the scratch, build up your clients, reach out to people. So you are the accountant, you are the business development guy, you're the sales guy, you're the marketing guy. So you're everything when you're running an enterprise. Along with it, you also have family, you have friends, you might have spouse, you might have a number of other things happening. How do you maintain your sanity in all of this? So a very, very simple way is to what I do is to practice mindfulness. And how do you do that? Is just to take out some time from your schedule. It's a good idea. Again, I said, being an entrepreneur, it's not easy. There will be so many things and everything would be important. So it's equally important to have a Gantt chart for yourself, have your plan set in place. Once you have your day plan set in place, you know that this is the time you're dedicating to this task, this is the time that you're dedicating to the other task, and your whole schedule is planned. Take out some time out, preferably in the morning, and sit with yourself. When I say sit with yourself, it's meditation again, but people have this phobia of meditation, that I'm not able to meditate because I have so many thoughts coming in, and that's where mindfulness comes to the rescue. It's a concept where you needn't focus on anything. All you need to do is just sit with yourself and just observe yourself like the way you've never done before. Because in all the interaction that I've had, especially with women, uh, Their response has every time been, oh, I never knew that this is the way I breathe, or I never knew that, oh, this is what happens when I'm angry. Like a very simple question I pose to all of you. Do you know what happens to your body, or do you know what do you do when you get angry, when you get upset, when you get sad, and when you're happy? I did this workshop with women and kids. So where the mother said that he is always lying down on the sofa. He doesn't go down to play. I don't know what has gone into his head. He just doesn't like to play. And similarly, so I asked this question to the kid. So what happens to you? What do you think? How does your body respond when you're sad or you're upset? And he said, Auntie, I just don't want to get up from the bed. I want to lie down there. Imagine the different perspectives that two people have on the same thing. And it was such an eye opener where the mother was thinking that this boy isn't moving his body, he's not getting up from the sofa to go down to play, to coming to a point where this whole physical activity, so the whole the manifestation of him not going down to play was because he was feeling sad, he was feeling upset. So all these things are intertwined. Your physical disposition is affected by your mental and emotional wellness. So what you do is just keep a journal. That's a very strong suggestion that I have for everyone who I work with. Keep a journal. Write down only 5 things. Just write about yourself. How do you feel in your body, in your mind, and in your breath? When you're happy, how do you feel about these things when you are sad? How do you feel about these things when you're angry? And how do you feel about these things when you're upset? Jot it down. This will give you a body map of your own self. And it will be very surprising to most of us because we just don't know. You know what happens to a body when we get angry? I've asked this to kids, what happens to your body? And they give the most beautiful of the replies. So what happens to your body when you're angry? And the kid says, my limbs kind of freeze. My limbs freeze and I can feel my cheeks getting hot. That is because the blood circulation has gone up. Your limbs are getting into a fight and flight response. So that is what is happening to your body. And what mindfulness does is just to bring your attention to what is happening right now. And what happens because of that is you're just being aware of what is happening, and that gives some distance between you and the event happening. So I'll just give you an example to simplify it. If I know that, okay, I'm sitting here, I'm suddenly feeling very irritated and I can feel my cheek going hot, I think that's a trigger for me to I'm getting angry at something. So when I'm able to catch my emotion at that stage, when I know that, oh, this is a sign for me, maybe I'm getting angry, I'll be able to control it. I'll be able to give a response to the stimuli and not react to the stimuli. And especially for entrepreneurs, I've been there, it is such an important skill to learn. You need to have this gap between you and the solution. Because more often than not, what happens is we have this product which we fall in love with, and we love that product, and we wanted to excel in the market. We put our heart and soul into it. But if it doesn't succeed, or if it doesn't do too good, we feel bad about it. We invest more into it. It's a time to step back, sit with yourself, realize, and just let it flow. Understand what's happening. Maybe the product is right, maybe you need to change the strategy, or maybe the product just isn't right. Maybe it's just your love with the product that you were wanting to go ahead with it. It'll help you do a check with your consumers, with your markets, with your products, just because you've taken this time out and understood the task at hand in the present moment. A very simple way, again, the first thing is you can keep a journal, write down these 4 things. The second is just sit with yourself and just observe how your breath moves. When you sit and you observe how your breath moves without being judgmental. So now some people say that, long inhalation is better. Some would say that long exhalation is better. Some would say that, this is what you should be doing. What I say is remove this word should from your dictionary. There is no should. It is what you like. It is what your body says. Respect your body, respect your emotions. There is no word such as should. All of you are entrepreneurs, and all of us can be an entrepreneur in the mindset, at least, definitely. So open up, and just let the breath flow. So when you inhale, when you exhale, observe the sensations that are happening in your body. Do you feel something expanding, something contracting? Do you feel anything anywhere? And even if you have thoughts coming in your mind, there is absolutely no need to fight against those thoughts. Thoughts will come, thoughts will go. If you just close your eyes and sit, you will realize that you will have at least 10,000 thoughts coming in your mind, and none of these thoughts would have any premise to it. So they come, they stay, they go. What we get entangled in is, okay, this thought came, maybe, oh yes, this is something which is important. Then you'll have a to-do list coming in, oh, but I needed to do this. So, okay, that also comes. So this comes and goes, but do you see how it is impacting your body? If you just sit for 5 minutes and observe, every time this thought comes, observe what happens in your heart center. Observe how your breath changes. And one of the easiest lever to control stress is your breath. So they say that kabhi gussa aa raha ho to drink a glass of water and take longer breaths. There's a valid reason for that. What happens is, if you would have seen yourself, if you're putting a thread inside a needle, what is your breath pattern like? It is extremely controlled. And what happens when you run? When you run very fast, more than your physical capacity, you pant, the breaths are shorter because the body needs more oxygen. So the kind of task that you're doing and your concentration and your focus and your determination is very much dependent on the kind of breath that you're having. So once you're aware of what is happening inside your body, every time you breathe in and you breathe out, there is a good enough chance for you to also exercise a control there, and also exercise a control on your response to any stimuli that comes from anywhere. So this is what I would like to say, the professional aspect of us, not the professional aspect, but the day-to-day life of us, and the concept of mindfulness, and how can these two come together. And when these come together they create magic. So when you are mindful in each and everything that you do, what you're doing really is giving your 100% to whatever you're doing right now, to your relationships, to your task, to your beliefs, to everything. So my suggestion would be, when you're here, like, what's the time here? 11:11. So 11:11, when I'm here, I am only here, I'm talking to you. I'm not thinking about what I did on 11:10 or what I'll be doing at 11:12. When I'm here, I can look at Rahul's screens, I can look at Runa's screen, and that is what I look. That is what I can see. When I'm very clear on what I can see, I'll be much more focused on completing the task at hand. More often than not, we make plans, and we make grand plans, and then we get boggled down when we're not able to achieve those plans. And then the second thing is, break it into steps. My suggestion is, you know the overall thing that you want to do. The goal can remain the same. The paths can be different. Be in the present moment, pick up the task at hand, perform it with 100% acceptance and no judgments. Do not judge yourself for doing too much or too little. Never do that. Our society has conditioned us to say that only if you do this, you're successful, or only if you have these parameters, if you fulfill these parameters, are you successful? No. Your success is your own success. Please decide for yourself what you want to do out of your life and what makes you happy. Because eventually, all of us, no matter whatever we do, we become an entrepreneur, or we become a working professional, or we choose to be a stay-at-home mom, or we choose to do whatever in life, the underlying reason for everything that we do is joy. And that is something which I strongly subscribe to, because given my background also in marketing, I've been very close to consumers, and thanks to the job, it has given me a lot of opportunities to travel across India and meet women from across sectors, from across beliefs, from across segregations, and all of them have one thing in common. Some of them work, some of them earn, some of them do whatever, but at the end of the day, what all of them are striving for is love and joy. So this is very contrary to the kind of discussion that we might be having when it comes to a concept like entrepreneurship and success. But I am of the very strong belief that today on Women's Day, let's also keep up this feminine spirit inside us alive. All of us have this feminine and masculine aspect. So I really don't believe in this concept of Women's Day for women and Men's Day for men. All of us are men, all of us are women. It's just that the masculine force inside us, it propels us to take action. It's an outward flow of energy, which is beautiful, which is wonderful, because you want to be successful in the world. But let's also not forget the feminine aspect and come to the center and be in this present moment in all entirety. So that is what I had to share. I think I'm done.
Thank you, Nimisha ma'am. Thank you. Ma'am, you rightly said that all of us, we all are men also, we all are women also. It is only the part that which makes us more towards men or more towards women. Ma'am, I have one, two questions from you. I was just listening to your session. Ma'am, in the complete startup ecosystem, generally women and girls entrepreneurs, they face this problem that in this particular ecosystem, number of people, they offer their services as a mentor or as a vendor in this particular ecosystem. So the trust factor is very important. Many times it is seen that for a short duration of interaction, we are not able to have a proper kind of trust factor. Maybe after a few days or few weeks, we find that that person was because of his or her own interest. So how we can have an important trust factor? Generally, it is seen that with men, they manipulate this. They understand that where to go and how to go. So as a women entrepreneur, what they should keep in their mind before interacting and before having some business kind of interaction with their own enterprises.
So, very nice question, Mr. Arora. So, what my perspective on that would be, again, so that's again a societal conditioning that men are supposed to be like this and women are like this. But having said that, there are certain different things that women bring onto the table. Now, it's not a binding that women should be doing only those things or they should not do certain things. That's definitely not the case. We've seen women right from somebody who's a daily wage earner saving to right to somebody who is responsible for the finances of even the globe. So that's the spectrum. But the whole feminine aspect, and here I'll be gender specific. So for women, if I talk about my experiences, so there are certain sectors like property sector, if you see, there it's largely male dominated. But if you would have seen, if you go to someone who has a female counterpart as well, there your trust factor goes high. There is a certain softer aspect that a woman brings onto the table. So no matter whatever you do, whatever kind of organization that you're running, or whatever kind of entrepreneurship that you are into, the soft skills and the trust factor, the nurture aspect, this is something which comes very inherently to being a woman. So the problem is that we nullify it. We say that no, we are equal. No, we're not equal. Let's not even try to be equal. Let's bring the strengths that we have inside us to the forefront. And when you start an enterprise, there would be certain people who would be coming forth for your help. There'll be certain people who you need to be aware. You need to be aware of what you exactly need to do. Once you have your plan set in place, once you know that, okay, I have ABC, what I need is D and E. So when you know that you know this, you need the D and E, then you will probably reach out to the person who will provide you DE. It saves on your energy, it saves on your resources, it saves on the cost, and plus it's a game. So my take on it is also entrepreneurship is something which evolves. So you learn. धक्के खाने को मिलते हैं. There will be times when you will be betrayed, but I think that's also a part of learning. That's where you know that, okay, this is something which is not supposed to be done this way. So I think it's a holistic learning. Again, my thing would be in the moment. Do not judge anyone on the basis of what they did last or what they would do next. Rather, let the focus be, what do you want? Let us not say that this one didn't do a good job last time, this one will not do a job this time also. Instead, let's focus on, okay, I know this one, maybe he does a b c very bad, but I know that he does the D thing properly. So as an entrepreneur, I should have that eye to understand that even in the worst of the people, you will have one streak. And if you can take, I'll not call it advantage because that's not a parlance that I'd be using. But if you can if you can use this opportunity to your benefit, I think that that's what is needed.
Really, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot. Ma'am, we will again be contacting you on behalf of Innovation Foundation because our girl students, they need, guidance from people like you.
Sure. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Mr.
ma'am.
Arora.
Thank
It
you, ma'am.
was a very nice session. Thank you so much for inviting me here. And all the
Thank you, ma'am.
best to all of you here. Thank you, Rona.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So, Dr. Runa, ma'am, are you there?
Yes, yes. Una ma'am is there now.
Yes,
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 I'm there.
yes. So,
Una
good
ma'am,
afternoon.
welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am, again. And I would like to welcome and introduce Dr. Una Matra, founder and director, People Talent International, and founder of Women of Substance India and GBHRP Networks. Dr. Una has 2 decades plus HR and OD experience in fintech, ITES, professional services, manufacturing, and retail sectors in India, US, and UK. Ma'am is the founder and director of People Talents International and has partnered with multiple entrepreneurs as business. Prior to her business role, she worked as country director HR for Clifford Chance, center head HR for Convergys, head HR in Delmia Group, Apata Escorts Finance Limited. Ma'am has been awarded as top 50 HR influencers by ETHR in 2021 and 101 women social media influencer in the year 2015 and 16. She has been awarded as top 100 innovation HR leader by World HRD Congress in 2018 and 2017 and top 30 HR influencers in 2018 by SHRM India. She has been awarded top 50 HR influencers in 2019 also by HRM, APAC and MENA and SHRM official influencers 2020. Runa is a renowned keynote speaker in both corporate and academia and has conducted behavioral training for multiple industries. The evolution of corporate social responsibility in India inspired her to lead an NGO steer on education and skilling associated with Pure India Trust on Girl Child Education. Ma'am is founder of NGO WOS, that is Women of Substance India, which supports women empowerment and recognizes change makers. As a jury member of Ashoka Foundation, selected social entrepreneurs for nationwide youth ventures program. Ma'am, I welcome you again on board and hand over this to you now.
So many accolades, ma'am. So many accolades. We have not, ma'am, left a single gap. What else, ma'am, one can expect from one life?
So first of all, thank you very much for the opportunity. And when my profile is read, I always think that's in past. Okay, what am I doing today? What am I doing in future? That's more critical to me, and that's more relevant. Okay, so maybe sometime my profile sounds like that is, I felt a little embarrassed when the whole narration was happening. कि ये कितना कुछ बोला जा रहा है
No, ma'am,
और
these all are your accomplishments.
thank you. I think fundamentally, I believe all of us accomplish something or other. Only thing, probably, we should know how to showcase it. Okay, so Dr. Aurora, thank you so much for this beautiful opportunity. I was keenly listening to your entire, narration about the such a beautiful organization, and I was thinking, hey, why didn't you know about, it before? Probably we would have worked together. And now this is the time we should, collaborate and see what we can do for the fantastic women you're touching through your organization. So thank you for, creating this beautiful world. And I believe it's very fresh, new from 2013. So congratulations to you and all the people who have helped to get this, set up. I think this is a beautiful opportunity. And Rahul, I love the way you are anchoring. So thank you so much for making us feel so special. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
ma'am. Thank you.
And Nimisha, what a beautiful, thought sharing. I was so immersed in her entire thought process and so natural, so beautiful. I think she made my life little difficult, so I will try my best to share my journey and my thought process. Rather, no, the way it should be, I believe that it should be progressive. Whatever we have done in the past, yes, that we carry with pride, but at the same time, responding to current scenario and also progressing with the future demand is extremely important. So I would like to showcase few slides if that is all right with you within my time. So let me see if my slide is going to be visible, because after a long time I'm using to be very honest, Cisco. So these days we are all into Zoom and everything. So let me just check if it's allowing me. Uh-uh. It's asking for security.
Ma'am, you can just click on the share down below the
I did.
photograph.
I did. It's asking to open my system. That's where I had probably. And then when I'm talking about accessibility, it's talking Zoom and Microsoft Team. Uh,
Yes, ma'am.
it's not allowing me to show my slides. All right. So nevertheless, I would definitely, I'm pretty much the slides are my thoughts. So what I'm trying to also do, if I can, hand it over to you, Rahul, through system. So,
Definitely, ma'am.
system allows you to upload. Let me bring here.
You can
And
just send it to Dr. Arora also. I will take it in a minute from him on WhatsApp or anywhere.
exactly. So I'm just doing that. Sorry, everyone, for getting into this mode. So here you go. So technology enables you, or technology also, sometime tests you. So that's what is happening right now for me. All right, I've sent it to Dr. Ra. It's just, I'm sure he'll just download and hand it over to you.
Yes,
Fantastic. So whenever it's with you, you can always host it. In the meanwhile, I would like to kind of relate to what I try to express through my few slides. To begin with, when we talk that historical movement, when it comes to considering how we are all looking into women empowerment, women being equal, and also, kind of striding over as a person. So I think, I get inspired by a constitution. Way back, it was formed with the help of 15 women, and it always talked about that both genders are equal. I wish we could also make it gender agnostic now that we are also looking into third genders and inclusiveness. That somewhere probably we are getting more and more inspiration from the world, and definitely, we all are striving towards that. So one thing which is, real fact that we had been formed in a new world post-independence where gender equality was promoted by all those creators, and that included 15 women leaders way back, right? And then we are talking about how the whole thing emerged in the society. Nimisha was also talking about social presence and how society accepts us. So in that situation, also we are talking about society, if you look at the history, and creating an equality at home by saying, hey, men will earn and women will manage home. What was wrong with that? Nothing. It's partnering together for parenting, for managing house and finance and everything. So both came forward to say we will take our roles in the family and we will manage ourselves as a family. Somewhere, when certain challenges happen, that's the distraction from the reality. When we're talking about men bringing money and women managing house, I think somewhere the power, centricity happened with the point that money can bring something which is going to either help us to manage house or manage our dreams. Hello, is it really true Because when it comes to the corporate world and we do surveys for the importance of compensation for, job satisfaction, we always find compensation to be the seventh point or eighth point, much below than many other areas where we say that, hey, if I'm happy with my job, if I'm happy with my organization, then always there's something which is more related to emotion, more related to culture, more related to something which is probably impalpable. When we are talking about uh, money, or the whole science of money, that is probably not the topmost point. In spite of now in pandemic economy, things are changing. We have seen so much issues because of job losses, because business going down. But look at the way great resignation happened. There the employees are making choices that, hello, where I work, what do I do? It's going to be my choice. I look at that connotation with women. When we talk about women being equal, it needs to be my choice. If you look at history, whether as a mother, whether as a partner, whether as a sister, whether as a daughter, we always try to give importance to the other gender. Somewhere that has become our DNA. That is a mother, I'll give importance to my husband, my son, etc., etc. That's a value we created by being in the second position and allowing others to be in the first position. While allowing others to be in the first position, I think women also made a choice to put the son before daughter. And that's where probably the whole context has set that, at home, we find there is an inequality. At office, we find inequality. If I talk about professional world, there also the whole evolution happened due to the fact that roles were identified to manage house and finance, and then in contextually women tried to be financially independent much later. Is it out of necessity? Maybe. Is it out of requirement of the family? Maybe. Primarily out of choice becoming financially independent, I think that somewhere we felt it was not the primary reason. Women pushed themselves to be financially independent when they did not have choice in the family to get equal opportunity, equal respect. So I think somewhere the whole stereotype started from there. So if you look at the stereotyping in our society, definitely, all these factors came into forefront. So Rahul is trying to give us the slides in front of her. Thank you so much, Dr. Arora and Rahul. So that was
Thank
my
you.
first slide. Largely to thank you all for organizing such a fantastic day. And of course, I believe that we need to celebrate every day. And also, since it has been earmarked as International Women's Day, why not? Does that mean that suddenly I'm only celebrating one day? Not at all. I think we all celebrate 365 days somewhere other. Look at Indian festivals. I think we're all geared up to celebrate Holi. So if we are, enjoying colors, do we enjoy colors only on one day, which is Holi? Probably not. We are showcasing our joy of, managing colors with friends and handling them for joyous moments one day in 365 days. I would rather look into similar things like Christmas Day, or maybe some other days which we all sit together. Thanksgiving. I think we are giving thanks to all of us every day. I think every moment we say thank you. But then we do have a Thanksgiving Day, isn't it? So I think from that perspective, International Women's Day brings certain values to us, some kind of a recognition, like happy birthday every year to each other and things like that. So let's look at Women's Day probably with that connotation. The second slide I had, I've already talked about, is if you can move to the second slide, or you may give me the right. Hey, Rahul.
Just a second, ma'am.
No problem. Yeah. So my second slide was primarily to connect with the fact that I already mentioned about the Constitution, and we can move to the third slide. you. So this is something Cisco is not allowing us. So I'm not going to take this beautiful moment from us. Let's see, Rahul, you can, whenever you're ready, you can keep on surfing that and I'll keep relating to it. But I was talking about stereotype when I actually started relating with the slides. And the stereotype, and largely we have in our life because of certain facts, the way we are, being managing our life at home and corporate and society in the, or, wherever we are. So the stereotypes is somewhere I felt that maybe, I had a nice slide on it, to be very honest. And so, yeah. So here I talked about in this particular point that women definitely have lot many roles to play, and in that all those roles to play, can we also start correlating with men? If you are a grandmother, we have a grandfather. If you are a mother, we have a father. If you are a stepmother, we have a stepfather. If you're a wife, there is a husband. If you are, sister, there is a brother. If you're a sister-in-law, there is a brother-in-law. So if women play multiple role, men also play multiple role. At the same time, we're talking about certain way we have led our life historically. If we are not critical about it. Yes, financial independence. So Beyonce says that I truly believe that women should be financially independent from their men. And let's face it, money gives men the power to run the show. I actually think that's somewhere we see some kind of a inspiration, that if money gives some kind of a power to a human being, why not? Let's earn. And if that gives independence to us, why not? Let's make a choice to be independent in that sense. But independence is in our mind. As beautifully Nimisha talked about, homemakers, people who had made a choice to stay at home and look after children. It's only in India, probably, we are yet to see that, when we talk about people staying home, we always have in mind mother is staying at home to look after children. But I had a colleague 10 years ago when I was in the corporate world. And, one day my colleague, she was from Britain, and she said, my husband is a home maker and he looks after our children and I earn. So we follow so many things from Western world, but I guess these are the simple, rules and possibilities. When we start believing in ourselves, I think lot many things will change and we'll start making the right choices. So the next slide, when we talked about the, Rahul, is it difficult?
Yes, ma'am. It is coming up.
No problem. All right. So then again, there is a connotation around that what role beyond our imagination women can play. There are again certain stereotyping there that women may not be good in managing finance. Women may not be good in managing technology. Women may not be, good in, become an entrepreneur. These are again some barriers in mind, some mindset, some stereotyping, some kind of a thought process we lived with. But we have enough examples of people coming forward and considering the whole spectrum with the perspective that there are many people in this world who love technology and they're women. And I can actually vouch for myself. I love, technology, and in fact, many of my network friends say that, oh, she's a techie, she will manage that. All right. Then again, there is one perspective which, is built with women. And this I learned 15 years ago. I was actually joining a nice women program. I'm sorry, Rahul, it's, sideways. Either we show it or we don't. It's distracting me. I joined a program for women, and the whole discussion on the board was women are not good in networking. And suddenly the chairperson, asked me, Runa, everyone is giving their perspective. How come you're so quiet? Otherwise, you talk a lot. I was like, the discussion points here is that women can't network. And I do not resonate with that at all. I think we have, very good networking capability, and I have found it extremely useful in my, world, whether it's for connecting with the people in the social world. And I'm not talking about social media yet. I'm talking about social world where we are looking into connecting the dots, whether, visiting the school and talking to parents of other children, whether, talking about the society we live in and we are actually connecting with our neighbors, whether as a woman in the family, how we relate with the family, how we relate to the even professional world. And of course, when the social media came in, and it enabled us in a very different way through technology, I think somewhere contextually we also learned how to handle network, how to manage network beautifully. And that's where I talk about breaking the bias. This year's strategy we all are taking, hey, break the bias. So I think breaking the bias is somewhere we all are also looking at how things are changing around us. For example, I have picked up two adverts. If you look at these two adverts, how a mother is teaching a child to actually, and I really like this, Crompton's and Surf's ad, where mother teaches the son that, okay, you also have to do certain chores, which you have probably thought is the business of your sister or a mother. So that is a message through media. We are getting that when we are treating household activity, the buck starts there. And to be very honest, my child from childhood has actually sat on the table, even if we had 24 hours help. But whenever we had given off to our helps, when we cooked, he sat down with peeled potatoes and asked for masalas. What are the name of this masala and that masala? Thankfully, he knows cooking and he loves cooking. When he was, overseas to study, he could cook for his friends. So I think somewhere, there are some activities in the family, we also label them. Similarly, when it comes to toys, I remember my son's first birthday, someone presented him, a Barbie doll. One of my colleague did that. And people looked at him as if he has given a bomb. Because giving a boy a Barbie doll, no, no. What are you trying to say? All right. So people started reading too much in it. But the person who brought it to my son, he said, hey, Barbie doll got launched in India, and I believe everyone can, play with a Barbie doll. So what? We can have one in the family. We can have for children. We can actually see, okay, how, what a pride that a fantastic product has come to India, and let's have one for ourselves. I think somewhere, those kind of thought process, of course, the way boy will see another, it is like a peer group learning. So when they go to school, they go to various playgrounds, etc. They will find boys playing with boys, and they also know which are the toys they are going to use, because that's a peer group learning, because parents hand it over to them. So biggest thought I have around is, how are we parenting? What is our acceptance level? So when it comes to even now, I will relate to another fact, which is called the recent National Education Policy 2020. It talks about a lot of stake of school teachers. It talks a lot about how corporate should respond to it, what kind of skilling needs to be done going forward, how the whole change management would happen as far as education is concerned. But the policy does not relate to parents. That's a huge exploration point. If teachers are now going to treat their children equally, if corporate is going to do diversity and inclusion hiring, all right, so why not, relate all that matter right from the grassroots with parents? And that's where probably we overlook the role of parents in our society, and how they nurture their children, right, and gives them value when it comes to equality. So my next slide, Rahul, if that's possible. Kuch to hai garbar. Yes, this is something I was actually relating to when we're talking about parenting. And you can see that, interestingly, both parents are taking the child to the school. And behind you can see the, four ladies and man, who is, actually from this picture, we may relate to it as they are the teachers. So if you look at schools, number of women as in teaching profession had been much higher, whether it's school or college, even MBA colleges. All right, we find the ratio is absolutely different. It's changing definitely, but we have seen that Women love becoming teacher because that's where they're nurturing, and their way of relating to small children, or maybe their own level of emotional quotients are very, very different. Or there may be many reasons. I'm just highlighting couple of them. But that's the point where we can start relating to children in an equal environment, in equal environment and equal culture, equal. I think that's these are the pictures. I got inspired by a beautiful organization called Save the Children, and they are talking about when you're saving the children, you actually treat them equally. And this is something I thought I would share with you. And Rahul, my next slide is actually a beautiful thank you slides for this fantastic day. So again, from my heart, I would like to thank each one of you who are listening to us, and great opportunity by Dr. VK Arora and this fantastic institution, Rahul, Nimisha, everyone. Thank you so much. Happy Women's Day.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. We can have a discussion, ma'am, also, because I think our next speaker will join at 12:15.
Mhm.
Ma'am, yeah. Ma'am, from the point of the view of the entrepreneurs, means as a women entrepreneur, if I ask you that what kind of suggestions you would like to give to our young girls who have just joined this university after passing their 12th standard, and we push them to start their own company. So when they enter to the first year only, then they are in dilemma that whether to go for the placement kind of things, or they should go for starting up their own venture.
Um, in fact, I'll say a couple of things. First of all, there's an emotional side of it when it comes to the ability to make a choice to be an entrepreneur. I think that's where a lot of hesitation is there. So one thing we have to break that bias over there. Break, typically we say break the glass ceiling. Break the bias, break that. So somewhere the mindset of a girl has to change, and typically they have to own the fact that they can do it. Point number one. Point number two, we have to keep looking at the success stories of the around us, that how many women has become extremely, extremely successful just by making choice that they want to run a company themselves. So either as a successor of various industrial, when it comes to Max, I'm so inspired by Tara Singh, who has taken over from Analjit Singh. All right, so she is running few parts of the business. When it comes to Anu Aga, how she actually took over Thermax. When it comes to even for that matter, so sometimes people may think they are being favored. Not at all. I think we have to look at them by with a clarity that they've had made a choice to run business. So that ownership is extremely important. So please feel inspired by not only these people have inherited their family business, also lot many women who has are very, very successful with their startups now, maybe unicorn, or maybe now the running organization. In my mind, I have Suchi Mukherjee from Limeroads. In my mind, I have Swati Bhargava from cashkaro.com. And there are so many of them. Look at the CEOs like Falguni, Naik. She's CEO of Nika. But somewhere I also would like to say women tend to make choices of again a stereotype items. Maybe they want to lead jewelry business. Maybe they want to lead fashion business. Maybe they want to lead some kind of a handicrafts and things like that. I think again a mindset, because they relate to these products. And the Ayurveda, so many of them I've seen now being an entrepreneur role of managing Ayurveda, well-being organization, all that. I think still that's a stereotype. They're not still moving on to any hard product where they can come forward and say, hey, I'm okay to actually run an organization into furniture. Why interior design only? Why not also diversify it into items like furniture? I'm not saying there is none. There are plenty of them, but maybe they are inspired by my father, their maybe husband, or maybe joining sons, possibly. But alone thinking as an owner of that business, and not depending on someone just for the fact that, oh, I can't make a choice. You take your ecosystem support, Definitely, we can't do it alone. But at the same time, becoming mentally dependent, I think somewhere we have to again, get on to that, coming out of that mindset and say that I can do it. I think that will make a difference. You're on mute, sir.
Am I audible now, no, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. And we are also talking about the network management, that in some gathering, and this question was there, that women are not good in this particular thing, that network management. So, ma'am, do you also think the same or not?
I think I have to do my, beat my own trumpet by saying that I have heard that I'm an icon of network. Okay. So people normally ask me, कैसे कर लेती इतना networking? कब time मिलता है? I said, I love people. I love knowing about them. I love knowing their strengths. एक बार एक relation बन जाता है, मैं बिल्कुल नहीं छोड़ती. I remain with that relationship. So I think somewhere my emotions, which is very predominant, my passion predominant in me, and my choice of knowing people, learning about strength, and also nurturing this relationship, I think that really helped me to be a networker. And today, wherever I go, ma'am jaisa koi network nahi kar sakta. I'm like, wow, really? And that has given me my personal brand. They forget how good I am in technology. They forget how good I am in business. They forget about any other areas probably I'm good at. I think my whole persona is somewhere where people identify with me networking. I think the mantra largely is yes, we have to genuinely love people. We can't just say I'm an HR professional, so I have to love people. No, why have to? I think we should somewhere authentically love people, okay? As you do at home. So do that in the organization, do that in every relationship. I think that's point number one. Secondly, when I was talking about putting someone in a second position, when you grow others, you grow yourself. When you give a lot, the universe gives you back. Okay, so when we are giving, when you are doing stuff for others without any expectation, I think that is the biggest mantra for networking. And I learned that also in a very formal environment. There is something called BNI network. And someone dragged me into it and said, hey, can you be part of this BNI? You are a networker, you will love it. I said, I did not really love it. There is so much structure in it. But what I loved about them, the mantra they have, when you give, it comes back to you. It is actually the mantra of BNI network. So I'm trying to say that networking per se, had been somewhere also. People thought that boys do because they go out playing. Even if after marriage they'll go out for some hanging around. They have this fact time with friends. And they might be going to play golf. And women tend to come back home and start focusing at home because they don't go out in the evening to hang around. अगर वो किटी पार्टी भी करते हैं तो उसको भी एक क्वेश्चन मार्क की तरह देखा जाता है, अरे वो लोग किटी पार्टी टाइप्स वुमेन है, उसको भी एक कॉनोटेशन के साथ एंड ऑफ कोर्स नेगेटिविटी के साथ देखा जाता है. बट व्हेन वुमेन एक्चुअली गो टू द बार एंड एंजॉय, उसको क्वेश्चन मार्क नहीं दिया जाता है. So I think networking had started from there. Expecting. In fact, I have learned from somebody that this lady in US actually grabbed a big order and the client wanted to throw a cocktail party in the evening. All her main colleagues said, we will manage it. You don't worry. You go home and manage home. Hey, hello, it's our client. So why do we not expect her to go and actually enjoy the show? So I think that's where somewhere again, networking can be done by anybody, but somewhere we have to make that choice.
And the network which you are having, it has been created by you only, or it was someone else that who actually helped you in creating or having such kind of network?
Personal, and it's my hard work of 30 years.
Okay, great, ma'am. Great listening to you, ma'am. Ma'am, yes. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot for your time. I think that you are in hurry. You have to attend some other meeting also. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone.
And
Have a
we will
wonderful day.
again be
Stay
contacting
safe.
you, ma'am. And you also, and Nimisha, ma'am, also.
Thank you, ma'am.
Rahul, we have next speaker from 12:15.
Yes,
We can have, yeah, we can have a break of 10 minutes.
sure, sir.
Beta, I suggest all the participants to be there. We will be also circulating and giving certificates to all the participants. Beta, our next speaker will join at 12:10. Please be there. Jasdeep ma'am, good afternoon. Soumya ma'am, good afternoon. Ma'am, you are muted.
Good afternoon, Mr.
Good
Arora. How are you
afternoon,
doing?
ma'am. We all are well, ma'am. How are you?
All good. Happy Women's Day to you and to the entire team.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. From on behalf of Untitled Foundation and IGDQW.
Yes. Just
Thank
give
you,
me a
ma'am.
second, please. 1 second.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Actually, we have just finished with the last speaker.
So the session ended before time, is it, Mr. Arora?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
5 minutes means yes, both the speakers, ma'am. We have finished.
Okay. I don't
It
know
is
whether
great
I
to.
just like to make this a little more interactive, so it'll be good. I have very few slides. I don't want this to be a PPT, but a more conversation.
Yes, ma'am. In this platform, ma'am, students they will be able to write chat their questions, and then after we can have them one by one.
Oh, wonderful. Hi. Hello, Dr. Jasdeep is there.
Yes, Jasdeep, ma'am.
Dr. Jasdeep, happy Women's Day. She's very busy. She doesn't have, she's not responding.
Hello, happy, nahi, not busy. I'm so sorry. I was on mute actually. So happy Women's Day, Soumya.
हाय आप तो मिलते नहीं हो आप बहुत ही बिजी हो गए हो
Nahi, not at all. I'm always there. Yes, I missed few of the meetings of WIBG.
I miss you so much and that's why I want you to be team में आप भी रहे हो आप.
I was
Miss you a
excited. I
lot.
know you were here today, so I joined a bit late, but yes,
Okay.
I'm there.
No worries. I have very few slides. It's just more conversational, so I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Rahul, we can allow Soumya ma'am to share her slides.
Yes, right, already been given to ma'am.
Ma'am will be talking about women in innovations.
That's correct. So let me just share my slide deck. Give me a second. I'll also okay, so you're able to view my screen?
Yes, ma'am. We all
Yes,
can.
ma'am.
Okay.
So, sir, can we start with this session?
Yes, ma'am. Do we have any specific meaning of this particular women here in the
Sorry,
slide? Do we
sorry.
have any particular meaning of this ma'am picture of the women? So many women are there inside.
So that's a good question. Actually, women have so many myriad emotions, right? So this is just a colorful representation that they carry more women with them. So that's what this representation is. So you carry more women. So you basically grow and raise the tribe. So that's what it means. I have not drawn it and I have not painted it, but I'm presuming this is what the artist interpretation is.
Okay, great, ma'am. Yes, Rahul, we can start, ma'am.
So,
great.
good afternoon, ma'am, and I again welcome you on board. And I would like to give a small introduction of yours to the participants. So, this session will be taken by Ms. Soumya Moni. Ma'am is Marketing and Alliance Incubation Technologies and Director WIBD India Foundation and official member of Forbes Communication Council and National Marketing Council. Ma'am has a 23 years of experience in technology marketing with expertise in go-to-market strategy, portfolio and industry marketing, market research and analysis with HP, Oracle, Unisys and Edicom Solutions. Ma'am holds a strong experience in leading high-performing teams in complex and matrixed global environment. She is currently serving also as co-director of Women in Big Data, that is WIBD India chapter. She has received the most influential global marketing leader recognition from World Marketing Congress. She is passionate about purpose-driven and authentic storytelling that can translate an idea or concept into revenue. Ma'am, I again welcome you and now hand over this to you.
Thank you, Rahul, for that introduction, and thank you for the entire team of Innovation Foundation to actually invite me to this. I'm really honored and privileged. Wishing all the people who've joined in today a very happy Women's Day, men included. So this is just not exclusively for women, but also we're celebrating the day, but actually every day is a Women's Day or a Man's Day. I think the significance of Women's Day only pronounces the fact that, women do need a day to feel good about themselves, and it's good that the world is celebrating that. So and so happy to have that conversation here. I'd like to keep this very conversational if possible. So I have only very few slides, and the topic that I've chosen is women in innovation. Context of innovation generally goes with technology, or with entrepreneurship or intrapreneurship, with business, with leadership. So I thought today would, because of the Women's Day celebration, and we are breaking the bias. That's the theme for the IWD for this year. I thought let's talk about women in innovation. So very simple stories that I would like to share, and some personal anecdotes as well. But more importantly, I think I'd like you to ask questions, stop me anywhere or anytime that you feel that you want to chat with me. I'm happy to converse with you here or even offline. So let's get started. I don't know whether I'll be able to see the questions. So Rahul, you will have to guide me if there are any questions or if somebody's raising their hand to speak.
Definitely.
So just let me know. Okay, so I can stop.
Yes.
Now I'll start with a question. How many of you have read this book or are even aware of this book? Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. Before the audience asks questions, I thought I'll ask. How many of you have read this book? Have you heard of this book? I can't see anyone who's typing
Yes,
in the
ma'am.
chat.
Yes.
And I don't
We
know how
have.
to do that.
I have
So
read this
is there
book.
a way, Rahul, that I can see the chat?
Ma'am, you can click on the chat tab from right side bottom.
Okay,
Ma'am, I have read this book.
awesome. So we'll start with you. Oh, so Shalini Avasti says, okay, let me see if I can get the chat. Okay, here it is. I got the window. Thanks.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. So Shalini Avasti says yes. So, and Mr. Arora, you've read the book. So anything you remember of this book?
What I remember, ma'am, that there are two different paths which cannot meet. They cannot meet. Means that separate in different positions. This was the crux.
Okay. Shalini says she's read this book. So Shalini, you want to share anything that you remember of this book? Yes, absolutely. It is about the psychological differences between men and women. And I think physiologically, we all know that we are different, right? And psychologically, also, we are wired differently. Now, this book, just to give some context, this is written by an American author called John Gray, and it's spoken about countless number of times. References have been made. He's an American author. He's a psychologist by profession, and he's earned multiple degrees and citations around this book. where he's analyzed through certain experimental methods after speaking with a lot of women and men, how to run a productive and relationship, right? So how do you lead lives which are fulfilling? Because when you're psychologically different, how do you, how the twain can meet, correct? So that's what this book is about. It's about celebrating those psychological and physiological differences, and making sure that that celebration results in continuous progress between men and women when they are in a relationship. In business or in the corporate world, it's not very different. And the reason I cite this is because both men and women have to coexist. And it's proven that when you have a diverse team, when you have a gender inclusive team in an organization, you tend to foster greater collaboration, and you also tend to have more innovation. And I'll come to what that means and what the world statistics around this is in the world of business. Where I come from, having spent about 20 odd years or 2 decades of my career in organizations where, men and women have worked together, I've always felt alone in a boardroom. I've felt alone in a team setting where the manager is a man, where the project team is all male, and there are very few women in the team. And that according to me has also brought in a certain change in myself to be able to be making my voice heard, making sure that when I speak or I have a point of view, sometimes I'm reluctant, sometimes I'm hesitant. I'm sure many of you must have gone through the same, especially in unusual professions. In academia and teaching, I would assume that it's far better, but in many non traditional professions, like whether it's transportation or manufacturing or life sciences, many of the industries which are generally male dominated, we see women, very few women in all across all levels in terms of representation. And what happens is some of these voices go unheard. Some of the policy changes when the organizations go skewed towards male, and not because of design, it's because of the fact that there has been no voice in those policies. And therefore traditionally what's happened is that many of the things that have happened or grown have really been with the lens of a male. Now as we've grown from industrial era of 3.0, and now we are dealing with 4.0, with AI, with digital, with data, with technology, we see women play a much larger role in collaboration, in team setting, in leadership, in business. They're setting up businesses because digital allows us to be remote at the same time deliver. They're able to showcase their potential. So I think while the natural differences are there, we are now looking to celebrate these differences. And some of these experiments that John Gray initially started, where he talks about what these psychological differences are for relationship building context, they also make sense for business, they also make sense for innovation, and they also make sense for leadership. So that's what I wanted to set the context of this particular presentation. Now, why we need more women to have a larger role in innovation, right? So what are these psychological differences? Like Shalini is talking about psychological differences, twain shall meet, greater collaboration. What are these? Now, when we celebrate diversity, we are also looking at certain soft skills which are important in a very left brain scenario, which means we are wired to think analytical, we are wired to think logic, but we rarely use certain creative faculties which are to do with color, which has to do with design thinking, which are to do with certain abstracts, which does not have a quantifiable metric associated with it. For instance, if I show you a color blue, you would probably think, ye mera wala blue nahi hai. Because you'll think of the Asian paints, right? You'll say, ye mera wala blue nahi hai, ye mera wala pink nahi hai. Now, what that really means is that you are celebrating differences with color, but you're also associating it with certain sensitivity, which probably you will not do when it's a math equation, when you know that this plus this will result into something. And women tend to bring, and this is just research and my own experience, that women tend to have a larger role to play now more than ever because of certain softer skills or heightened sense of emotional quotient that they bring to bear. And that's to do with not that men don't have it, it's just that in women it's more pronounced, and therefore it becomes a little more conducive to create that innovative culture within an organization, and that's what you will see many corporates embrace as well. I'm not saying that professionalism or multitasking or collaboration or communication or critical thinking is exclusive to women. It's really that, given they are wired, or the human brain for women, for men and women are wired differently, this is more pronounced because they are more nurturers, whereas men are traditionally owned to be hunters, and that's, I'm talking from time immemorial. They have the focus of being providers of the family. So they have more heightened sense of logic and decision making, whereas women tend to pronounce on some of these skills, which in a larger context of team setting and innovation is critical. Now, what these competitive edge of soft skills include is that when you're looking at the female brain and the anatomy, is really about bringing agility and using some of these softer skills to reach across functions, for collaboration, for making sure that you can use these skills to deliver to the goals of the business, to deliver to leadership, to deliver to management, and to innovate and deliver new value. Now, in any company, whether it's male or female and it's gender agnostic, innovation is actually gender agnostic. But I think what tends to happen with innovation is that you need to be far more inclusive. And that inclusivity innately comes with women. And to successfully innovate in any company, these female centric traits, as we call, or the female brain wiring, as we call, is something which I think we need to have embedded in the organization. And all of us, whether it's male or female, have certain masculine traits and feminine traits. It's the complementarity of both that will help us sort of build out a more inclusive, diverse culture for innovation. That's the context. So when I'm saying female brain, it doesn't mean that, a male cannot have that feminine trait, or a female cannot have a masculine trait. These traits exist in all of us. It's just that with women, it's more pronounced in certain areas. With men, it is more pronounced in certain areas. And therefore, they need to come together to build and foster innovation in any company. I'll pause here for any questions or any divergent thoughts that anyone may have. This is a conversation. This is just a perspective or my voice, but happy to hear anything that you believe is on the contrary or you want more clarification on.
Anyone from the audience, if you have any question or query? Otherwise, Soumya ma'am, you means given a very good light in this, that how they are separate and then how these both the mindsets are required to run the world.
Any participants want to speak may raise your hand or post in the chat box. You will be unmuted from my end.
Yes, I completely agree. Multitasking, intuitiveness, empathy, these are skills that, or traits rather, that women tend to have naturally by the way they are. That's the biological function really, of being able to, raise a family and, give birth. And therefore those traits are biologically wired in us. So I completely agree that we are multitasking and intuitive. Now, these skills and traits is what we need to use to be able to drive innovation and how it leads to business, right? So, and those differences, absolutely, Shalini, I quite agree. Irrespective of what your gender is, these differences have to be celebrated, and people need to be aware of this. And therefore, so from my perspective, respect needs to come regardless of gender. So it's not that just because I'm a female, I need to be respected, or just because I'm a male or a position of authority, I need to be respected. Nothing like that. It's competence trumps everything else. But it's just that how you recognize those traits and your skills in yourselves, and how do you use that to deliver value to whatever work that you are doing, whether you're in academia, whether you're in teaching, whether you're in research, whether you are delivering goods and products to customers, or whether you're in a non-traditional role that you probably could be an Ola driver or a bus driver. And that's really breaking the bias, right? Lot many times subconsciously we start thinking that, oh, I met somebody who drove the bus, I met a traffic cop who's a woman. And I find those liberating, because somebody is somebody is breaking the bias that subconsciously we hold, right? And whether it's to do with the forces, defense forces, or wherever they may be, I think if women are making a difference and a change and breaking that bias that we all have, women also have those biases. If you're able to, break those biases, celebrate the differences, I think there is a lot more room for us to innovate for ourselves and personal growth for ourselves. So I'll just move to the next slide. Now, obviously, we spoke about a lot of this, which is very aspirational, right? So I'm going to, also highlight certain things or studies that were done. I don't have an India-based study, but BCG did a study a couple of years ago, and they talked about how a diverse team leads to higher innovation revenue. And the context is really about women in innovation, right? So if you see, they did about 681 people they surveyed, and these were very big companies, and they were really looking at, what was the diversity index or ratio in these companies, and they were looking at, how well these companies rated on innovation. And this picture is worth 1,000 words. If you see the companies, and this was the result, really, I mean, of course, there is a detailed drill down of what these diversity scores mean. But if you broadly look at it, you're all almost looking at a double, right? I mean, 26% average innovation reported by companies where there was below average diversity score. And below average diversity score is like you're having very less sort of diversity across levels in the organization. It's just not about leadership, but also teams that are reporting into leadership. So companies with above average diversity scores, you've got a 45% increase in innovation revenue. Now, how innovation revenue is calculated is obviously company dependent, but how it's calculated is primarily based on the R&D that you do and the products that you bring to the market. So it's a function of both. So the spend has to result in bringing new products to the market and increasing, therefore, the innovation index for the company. And a lot of the great places to work, or any of these rankings that you see today of, top 10 innovative companies, or top 10, companies with diversity hires, you will see that, many of these companies are now looking at including this in their board metrics. So it is part of their balanced scorecard, where companies with above average diversity scores are given preferences by customers. They are given preferences by several stakeholder communities like investors, government, community at large. So it's just not about a nice to have anymore. It is really about must have. So, which means that it's a business imperative. So having women in leadership roles or across the organization has become a business imperative. Now let's move to the next one. Now, having said that, we know that, with the companies which were like 46 or nearly half of the workforce were women in leadership, the innovation obviously increased to 46%. But there is humongous shortage of top talent in the world today. And this has become even more pronounced post-digital, the pandemic and the digital revolution that has happened in the last couple of years, right? So we are still in that phase where a pandemic is weaning out across the world, but the pace at which digital transformation is happening is enormous. And there's huge shortfall in terms of demand. While the demand is very high, there is a huge shortfall in supply of talent. And look at these statistics. Half of the population of women are underemployed, or and the divergent trend that we are seeing is a lot of women, because of caregiving reasons, had to drop out of the workforce. So we are seeing that while there is a huge spike in terms of demand, the supply seems to not match, because women are dropping out of the workforce because they have to become full-time caregivers in a current scenario, and they're only representing 39% of the world employment. Now, this is world over statistic. So UN actually came out with a study, and they said that, this is not sustainable. So it's just not about business, it's also about sustainability. So that's why in United Nations, gender equality has become number 5 on its top list of 17 sustainable development programs. And this needs to be achieved by small, large, very large organizations globally by 2030. So a lot of organizations are putting emphasis in making sure that women are trained, are mentored, are upskilled, are brought back to the workforce. And I'll talk about the company that I represent as well. Very small, a drop in the ocean, but still trying to make a difference by getting women back to the workforce to retrain, reskill them as well. Now, despite making 40% of the workforce, only 5% of Fortune 1000 companies are led by female CEOs. Now, this is a startling statistic. While we are celebrating Women's Day, there are only 5% of the clique that we are really looking at, resonating with. So while it's like a pyramid, right? So you have a lot of women entering the workforce, some of them dropping out at a certain life cycle stage. And then at the peak, or when they are at the peak of their career, when they are looking at their next promotion, either at a seat at the board or probably leading the organization or becoming a CEO or CIO or C-suite employee, is when we see that it's abysmal percentages, 5%, right? So you're assuming that 95% of the male population still holds that seat of decision-making or power. Now, women can be great influencers, but unless they are decision makers or are holding seat at the table, we have a long way to go from that perspective. But if you see some of the statistics, even with that 5% of Fortune 1000 companies led by female CEOs, they generate about 7% of the total revenue. So every time a woman steps into a leadership role, we see organizations thrive. Not just in terms of inclusivity or employer advocacy metrics, but also in terms of business metrics. Now, how is that? How is it that we all can make a difference, right? This is not to say that all women have to strive to leadership positions, but really, how can we influence that change? And the way we can influence that change, at least the next generation will actually see some of these numbers grow up. We want to really look at community and building a sense of, arriving at some role models. We want to have more role models. So today, if you talk about innovation, you're talking about Apple, for instance. And the first image that comes to your mind is, other than the Apple phone, you also look at, Steve Jobs. And you're looking at, okay, a bespectacled man who is probably known for eccentricity, a little bit of aggression, some kind of innovation that he's been able to drive within Apple. But remember that that's only half truth. I think the organization that backed him up were many women in design and engineering who actually did not come forward, but they were responsible for creating those designs for Apple, which is what it's known for today. So I think we need to celebrate that community, and we need to create those role models and the people who are behind some of these scenes, or behind the scenes as we call, and drive this. So I think that's something which I wanted to also share, that, women in big data, for instance, as an organization that I'm currently supporting, is really about building that community and creating those role models within our community so that more women, more girls come forward and take on these positions as well. Now, there are many organizations like Women in Big Data who are doing a lot of work. UN is supporting these organizations by skilling, by mentoring programs, by providing them with training and encouragement. And we are all, whether in the corporate or in the academia, doing our bit to create certain initiatives where we create these role models and we look for these peer support. Because in my career, I've seen women hold back certain positions, or not vying for certain positions, is simply because of the fact that they didn't have a role model, or they didn't have the peer support within the family or the community to pursue them. So now with organizations and giving this as a business imperative, I see more women come forward. And that's why you have a Falguni Nair, who is, the CEO of Nykaa, who's listed IPO. And this is the largest ever for a female-led CEO in our country. So really, we see that, the tide is changing. We see so many women and startups, women-led startups come in the last few years. And because of the confidence that initiatives and organizations have started to recognize, and creating role models for young girls to follow. I'll pause here for any questions or anything anyone like to know about the community or the role model. Okay, so I'm going to very quickly talk about how women in tech is getting supported, and what are the different programs. While the initiatives that I spoke about in the previous slide is really about community and role models which are sitting outside of the corporate. So whether it's an academia community, whether it's a girls who code community, of course, I'm giving a tech and innovation angle to it, but it could mean business. It could also apply to, leadership in, women taking on non-traditional sector roles as well. So it could be any of those. So I'll just talk about, how women in tech and what corporate talent programs are doing. Now, we saw that, only 40% of the workforce were, women were coming to women, but we saw that, only as they progressed in their career, a lot of women dropped out or probably have dropped out for various reasons. And I wouldn't call them as break, but really gaps for, bearing a family, because that's also a full-time role. And kudos to, the women who are in our lives, who make that happen, whether it's a mother, sister, daughter, daughter-in-law, sister-in-law, anyone, right? So I think corporate is recognizing, and given that UN has put an emphasis also that gender equality needs to happen for business as well as for leadership, it's imperative to bring women back to work. And they are ramping up their efforts to recruit women, and it's has become like a mission critical initiative in many organizations. That's why you will see an AWS or an Intel or any of the technology companies. I'm sure non-tech companies also will embrace this, but technology companies, given the fact that we are digital and we can be remote, we don't need to travel anywhere, there's a lot more emphasis on getting women back to the workforce. And if you're a first-time returner or first-time worker, or you're returning to work after a very long period of time, I think looking beyond the pandemic, tech companies are looking at a hybrid digital workplace, which really means is that you can work from anywhere, and companies can leverage the dividend that they will get from women being part of their innovation teams. And you can reach a broader talent pool. We're running several bring her back to work or return to work programs. There are a lot of recruitment activities that are happening in the overlooked worker segments as well. So when we call it digital worker could be anybody who is non-digital native, who is not born, or probably who is not in the era of digital. So looking at unconventional talent, like if you've had women who are in the defense forces or spouses of defense forces who are looking to come back to work, who have wanting to do a career switch, they've probably done software testing or been in a manufacturing shop floor space for a long time. How many women we know who are in that shop floor? So if they want to translate, if they want to move or transition into digital or data oriented fields, they can do that today. And the possibilities are immense because you can learn cloud computing, you have business fundamental courses, you've got technology courses. Government of India is supporting a lot of these initiatives. So you can transition not just from an industry, you can transition from a stream as well. So if you've done software engineering, you can probably switch on to something which is to do with big data. If you've done manufacturing, you can switch you can switch to compute technology. So all of this, even medtech, for instance, if you've been in insurance sector, in the shop floor, managing pharmacy and medicines, you can now get into medtech. You can advise companies in medical technology. You can build apps now. So I think, Government of India keeps coming out with the app innovation challenges. And I see a lot of women, coming forward to build up these companies, startup. So I think career switching and gaps are no longer a taboo. Now you can, unconventional workforce is what we are celebrating. And that's what I think women in tech is now looking at as well. Equitable promotion. So while gender equality is an aspirational goal, there is some distance to cover in organizations. I'm sure both in the academia world as well as in the business world. And you can do that with formal mentorship and development programs. And a lot of organizations are putting a lot of their budget of learning and development that they call in business imperative programs, which are to do with talent acquisition and retention, both. So this, while you acquire talent, you need to train that talent and retain that talent. So formal mentorship and development programs are also happening, and this is happening for men and women. More importantly, for women who are, coming back to the workforce for the first time. The pace at which technology is moving and the pace at which digital transformation is happening, it only makes sense for organizations to sort of start looking at gender inclusivity as a business imperative across levels. So these are also being viewed as for, not just intake, but also promote them into leadership organization. I'm very proud to be part of a company where, we've hired women across all of these segments, both unconventional. We've hired women who have been spouses of defense personnel who are posted across the country, and giving them leadership positions in our organization of managing a particular customer account or delivery, or a region or a market unit, looking at their potential. So hiring for potential and training for skills is what the future is going to be for digital and women in tech. So tremendous amount of opportunity for women in this field. Any questions on these programs or anything that I highlighted here? I'd love to hear some commentary and feedback from the team on what I've shared so far. Is it resonating with you? Is it resonating or no? Yes, yes, no.
Yes, it is resonating. It is totally aligned.
Okay, good. Good to know. I've also put out a list of all the women innovators. The link on the top is the women we need to watch out. I spoke about a lot of these startups that are coming in the medtech space, in the infra space, in the manufacturing space, in civil engineering space. So there's a lot of innovation that is happening in these sectors. I've put out a list of all of these women who are running these setups, both from technology as well as business standpoint. These are global leaders to watch out for in 2022. I'd request all of you to look out for these links. And I've also shared, there is an organization called womenentrepreneurindia.com. Please do visit that. And every week they release an article featuring a woman entrepreneur and in India. And this is and was doing amazing work, and all very disruptive areas that we traditionally think that are male dominated, right? And women are driving these areas. So I've put this out for for the audience to look at, learn about their profiles, connect with them, and I'm sure you would recognize, or some of these stories will resonate with you. And I'm looking forward to some of the audience here to also be part of these lists in future. So what we learned today, I mean, I'm drawing to the end of the session really, that the power of diversity really is about better performance, better outcome, better performance, better business outcomes, and better collaboration. So that's what the power of diversity and gender inclusivity does. It is about business. It's not just about feeling nice or corporate social responsibility. Organizations and businesses, governments and communities are looking at it as a business imperative and sustainable. So sustainability is, so if you have to run a sustainable community, you would have to have diversity of ideas, of of gender, to be able to drive better collaboration. Yeah. So the International Women's Day, Break the Bias, is about, it's about breaking the bias. So I'm doing my bit. So are you, is the question that I'd like to leave the audience with. And I would love to hear as to how you would go about doing your bit. So that's all I had today. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Soumya ma'am. Any questions from the audience?
Okay, so
Yeah.
Shobna Shankar says yes, and I'd love to hear any questions that you may have for me. So Shobna, you can unmute your line and speak as well.
Rahul, if we can make Kunjan also. Kunjan also wants to ask some question from the ma'am directly.
Sure, sir.
Kunjan Gumbar.
I'm adding. Kunjan, you are unmuted now.
Hello, everyone. A very good afternoon to all of you, and a very warm International Women's Day to all the women out here. Thank you, ma'am, for such great speech. Definitely, there are great words which we can make note of. But, ma'am, when we come to reality, you know what? I have worked in corporate. I took a break and I came back to MTech. Let's say after 3 years, I have come back to MTech. I completed my BTech in 2016 from the same college. Now in 2021, I have enrolled in MTech. And you won't believe it is said, like there are so many programs for women going on to make a comeback. But if you see the reality, ma'am, it's not what it is shown in papers. It is shown like that they are welcoming with whole heart. You know, one of my friend, my nearest friends, she was in very good company, and she told me, she was in the recruiting panel. She was told, like, if you get a woman or a lady is in her early 20s, like she in her late 20s, like 29 or 30, and she has recently been married, so you don't have to consider her much, because then she might be going for a baby, and then she might be going for a career break. So, ma'am, this is the actual reality. I know. Speaking about the ratios, the numbers, it speaks a lot about women empowerment. But in actual, I know you resemble with me in this, and I think most of the people here on this call would do the same. It is very
Yeah,
difficult today to get an opportunity while making a comeback. It is difficult to prove yourself. If you
yeah,
have even the potential, you have
yeah.
come from a very good company, you have a very good experience. Still,
So,
I found it very difficult.
so Gunjan, I think you raised a very good point. I think it's good to talk openly and freely about this. Um, um, I come from an organization which is 600 members. Okay. We're a 15-year-old organization. I can only speak from tech standpoint, given that my background is in tech, but I do understand in non-tech areas, it's a lot more difficult. But since you have an MTech and you're coming back after 3 years, I can tell you in an organization that I am currently part of, 40% of the workforce is women, of which I think about 50% are in leadership. So we are walking the talk. Organizations like Incure are few and far between. And therefore, the voices of us, when we actually pronounce this and we talk and we share some of our success stories with others, we will see some change happen. Um, I see a lot of very large organizations struggling with change because leadership at that level has already set. I have gone through the bias myself. It's not that I'm free out of the bias, right? I have had very biased leadership struggling with the same issues that you just mentioned, like not being able to promote a woman, or promotability of a woman is being discussed openly in all males room, where we are looking at probably she leaving the workforce because she just got married or because there's a family event. um, Having said that, I think post pandemic, I must tell you, Gunjan, that I probably had those biases and I was working towards those biases. I've been part of so many of these sessions where women have come to me and said the same thing. But I've realized that during this pandemic and post the pandemic, I've realized and I've seen this change happen. And this change has happened not just by women taking on charge, but also men supporting these women taking on charge. So I think you should probably talk to me offline and how we are doing this in our organization. I'm happy to walk through certain programs that we run, and you can talk to some of these women who are, I've hired a woman who is coming, in my team, who has come back to the workforce after 18 years. She has not worked in the last 18 years. She is now currently managing the social media and digital marketing channel for Incture as an organization. So I think we need more role models. And that's what I spoke about, role models and community. So if we are able to create that surround effect within a community, the change will happen. It's happening at a slower pace, or it used to happen at a slower pace, but now I think the pace has accelerated in many organizations. So I think situation is changing, but it is happening. So all I can give you is a positive view out of this, and speaking
Yes,
from my
ma'am.
own personal
Definitely, we
experience.
all look forward to it because I think this is one of the basic and the most important phase of a woman's life, which every woman has to pass, early
Yes,
or late. So, so it's better once a girl or a woman understands this, because right now, because I'm unable to communicate too well with my colleagues because they are not at my age and they won't understand my viewpoint,
yes,
right? So I see that women are not able to support each other.
yes. I
What
think
I
the
feel is
best,
the basic problem.
yeah,
Men are there to support, but maybe I see that in the even the college workplace, in other places, like we don't get support. Because me myself, when I was in BTech, I saw some of these students enrolled in MTech, and they were of a later age, and I thought that why they have come to study when they are got married. Now I understand their point, like getting married, getting a baby, or getting whatever in your life, nothing stops you from doing that. And we have to
exactly.
broad the viewpoint of every lady, of every
Correct.
men even.
Yes. And I think the way to do that, Gunjan, and this is what we've done in our organization, is to have men participate and lead this conversation. So I think in fact, while women are anchoring many of these initiatives in the organization, it should not appear as it's a woman's lib, or it's something
True,
which
true, true.
it's just a kitty party at the workplace. It's got nothing to do with that. It's a fact that it is owning business. It's about conversations where men have to be included in the conversation. So Women's Day is not just about it's about celebrating women with men.
And it's
So
sometimes Yeah, and it's not that people don't motivate you. There are many teachers in my college, they know, and they motivate me a lot that you can do it, you can make it your strength, and you can work upon it. But there are many as well who have a taboo in their mind that if a girl is married, or if she has a baby, or if she's planning a baby, she might not be able to complete her studies, she might not be able to focus on her career. I want to break that. Like it's not that if you are of in your early in your late 20s, you cannot work, you cannot study, you cannot start again. I went through many programs, the Tara program of VMware, VM Inclusion program, TCS Rebegin. I know all those names. I have even registered. But what I see in the outside countries, like outside India, people get much more exposure. Like I have enrolled in many of the courses, so we see UK returners women program, like they have 6 months paid internship program like that, so that women can actually come back and they have a say. They can actually prepare themselves for the MNC again, and they don't have this fear of coming, like
Yes.
they will be
And
orphaned
in
out, the
India,
fear of
it's
missing out.
changing as well, Gunjan.
Yeah,
Gunjan,
we
it is
hope that
changing in
that
India
comes
as well.
soon, is coming. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I completely agree. In India, some of these global programs that you spoke about, in India also it's happening and it's changing. So I think I look forward to hearing from you. And you are owning this initiative of breaking the bias. What you just shared in this group today, I would recommend that you share that on LinkedIn, on social media, so that more women can join you. Remember, it's the community, and having a role model is what I think women look for, and there are few and very few to go by, right? So that's
Hmm.
why, and they're always in constant demand because of this demand supply situation. So women like you and me should sort of, bring out this in more open and create that community of support and cohort of people who can support each other. So I look forward to hearing from you and learning from you as well,
Definitely,
and
definitely.
supporting you
Actually, ma'am,
in
I was
your
actually first preparing to give a speech on this in this session, but due to some issues, I could not register. But luckily, I'm able to speak here. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to speak. The presenters and the host, thank you so much. And you
Thank
know
you,
what?
Gunjan.
When I
Thank
got
you.
married now, after 1 year, when I left my job, people used to say me, "Why are you joining again? You should not focus on your career now. You should focus on other things." And somehow, I
Mhm.
don't know what happened to me. I got biased with them. I thought, "ठीक है, better first I'll have my things sorted out and then I'll move again." But then I got to know this is not me. Why should I get influenced by other people who are saying like that? Even the ladies again.
No, wonderful, Gunjan. I think listen to yourself. I think that's an advice that I would give women and men of all ages, really. So listen to, and and I don't say, one more thing I want to sort of dispel this myth that, just because you got married and you're at home, you're not contributing to society, or you're not contributing. Um, uh, we we're not salaried, or we're not paid for, rearing children, which I think the organization and the country needs to recognize. In my view, we contribute to the GDP because we are the force behind the forces, right, who are working. So in my view, I think uh, rearing family, or leaving out of the formal workforce
Yeah, yeah.
due to certain reasons is nothing to feel ashamed about when you're coming out. Or I mean, I have many women who've come back to me, say that they're very underconfident in highlighting their gaps in their resume. I'm like, you gave birth to a child. You obviously were with your child till in their child rearing years, 5 years, 6 years, and that's absolutely okay. It's biological. So therefore, there is no need for you to not have that in your resume. So I think, please, I think women need to embrace that reality and communicate that reality confidently. And that's what I would recommend all women to do. So if I can recruit somebody after 18 years of break, I think so can you start your career
I have
of
heard
whatever
the same
break that has
stories.
been.
I have heard the same stories. Yeah. In She Dares, I think you must be knowing this community as well. There was an
Yes.
event related to She Dares a few days back where they mentioned that they have the lady was there and she came back after 25 years and it didn't seem at all. So I keep watching these kind of events, although there's not much gap in my career, but still I want to keep myself motivated because things have just started for me. So I feel like I don't have to make them as my weakness now. They are all my strength, and whatever happens, I have to keep moving. And you know
So
what?
you,
I heard these things from my colleagues, like she's got such a higher age and she has come to study. She has got old. I just don't understand, like if someone has caliber, if someone is intellectual, then why can't? I
yes,
think we need to break this.
you've
Yeah.
answered your own question actually. So I
Definitely.
don't think that's a
I
question
because
for
I
me.
have went through the first semester. 6 months have passed. I have went through all the phases, what all people say, what even my colleagues said to me. And now I have broken all those things and come out of my shell. What let it be? 2 plus 2 is 7. Let it be 2 plus 2 10. Okay. You happy, I am happy. That's all. I am on my path to reshape myself. That's okay.
Great, Gunjan,
I
great.
hope it motivates other as well who are there in this part, or maybe later if they'll go through this.
Thank you, Gunjan. Thank you for
Thank
the
you.
question
Thank you
and
so
the
much, ma'am.
discussion.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Is there
Thanks
anyone
to
else
you.
before we close?
Actually, Swami, and this also happens with us if we are given with two choices in the application, that one girl who is going to start her career and second one who is actually coming back to the career after a gap. So my own experience says that who is coming back to the career, she is more trustful and you can expect longer to work with her. Actually, you go to the society and then after take your own experiences, everything, then after you are coming back, it is actually going to work. When you are actually going to start your career during your studies or just after completing your studies, now, what I have seen in my incubation center, that decisions are not yours. It is better if you take decisions by your family members also, because ultimately
Yes.
what will happen, yeah, that is not your choice.
Yes. No, absolutely. I think life experiences, there is no replacement of life experiences. And if you have adeptly managed a home, you've adeptly managed budget of your home, personal household expenses, income of your home, I think they can be great administrators and managerial talent for any company, because that life experience is a dividend for any organization looking to hire women who are returning back to the workforce. So for me, I think and that's why you see many organizations, small, large, medium organizations are focusing on this, overlooked segment, as we call it. So looking forward to having more women join us. So much to learn, from those life experiences. So I quite agree with you, Mr. Arora.
Thank you so
So
much, ma'am. Yeah. Rahul?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so ma'am, thanks a lot, ma'am, for joining us, sharing your thoughts with the
yeah.
participants.
And thank you, everybody, and have a great Women's Day.
Yeah,
And
Thank
if
you.
you have
men
time, you
enjoy
can
it as
also,
well.
if you have time, ma'am, you can stay here. Our VC ma'am is going to join probably. And then after we will have award ceremony in different three categories. There are total 9 awards. If you have time, ma'am.
I just need to get to office now,
Okay, okay,
but
ma'am. Sure, sure.
so that's why I have to
Sure, ma'am.
step
Thanks a
out. But
lot, ma'am.
please do convey my warmest regards to your VC, Amita, Dr. Amita Dev. I think hugely respect her for running this institute, and thank you so much. I see Dr. Jasdeep. Thank you for
Great to see
inviting.
you. Great to see you. It was very nice to hear you and your thoughts, as always. Thank you so much, Soumya, for joining us.
Thank you. Bye bye. Namaste.
Thank you, ma'am. So we can wait for a minute or two before.
I will send some message to VC, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Arun sir, thanks for joining.
I'm having some issues. I'm not able to see the participants, and even now, Rahul, logged out. I logged in again, but it's fine now. Maybe video के साथ होगा.
And happy Women's Day.
Yes.
Thank you.
Women's Day.
And
Yes.
I wish all the participants, eminent personalities, my dear students, and everyone a very happy Women's Day.
Okay. So we are going to restart. Shall I, Rahul?
Yes, sir. Ye-
The term empowerment is rooted in the theories of Paulo Freire, a Brazilian educator who put forward the notion of sensitization as a process by which the poor could challenge the structure of power and take control of their lives. Paulo, at that time in his analysis, totally ignored gender as a determinant of power. Later, when the empowerment was included with women as to women empowerment, it had a shift of women participation from being silent to articulate, isolation to improvement, passive acceptance to critical thinking and analysis, onlooker to participate and planning, limited or no access to information and literacy, no decision-making power to collective and personal decision-making, and therefore powerless to empowered. Empowerment of women is one of the important movements that is not directed against men, but it is actually an involvement which looks at all the social systems of power. We know in the month of September 2000, leaders of 189 countries gathered at the United Nations headquarters and signed the Holistic Millennium Declaration, in which they committed to achieving a set of 8 measurable goals known as Millennium Development Goals. Out of 8 MDGs, goal number 3 was promote gender equality and empower women. Target to be achieved was the year 2015. Learning from the shortcomings of Millennium Development Goals, in the month of September 2015, 17 Sustainable Development Goals, that is SDGs, of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development was adopted by the world leaders to be implemented from 1st January 2016. Amongst these 17 SDGs, SDG 5 is dedicated towards gender equality. Today, we are in the midst of the implementation period. Indira Gandhi Delhi Technical University for Women and its incubation center, IGDTOW Innovation Foundation, understanding their contribution, are committed towards women empowerment and women enlightenment through women skilled workforce and women entrepreneurship. It is my privilege now to have our source of inspiration in the university among us, the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Amita Dev. Before we are enriched and motivated by the words of wisdom coming from Honorable Vice Chancellor Ma'am, I request my colleague, Mr. Rahul Sasteva, for a formal introduction of our revered ma'am. Rahul Sasteva.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Now I would like to take the opportunity to introduce our university pillar, Honorable Vice Chancellor, IGDTUW, and Chairperson, IGDTUW Innovation Foundation, Dr. Mrs. Amita Dev. It's her thoughtful vision, immaculate guidance, and constant endeavor to strive for excellence that university is achieving new milestones every day. She is a true leader, excellent administrator, and a passionate and very active researcher. She is doing extensive research in the field of artificial neural networks, speech processing, speech recognition systems, manets, advanced computer network, and many more. Having vast experience of more than 35 years, she has unparalleled track record of administration, quality teaching, innovation, and research. She has published more than 120 research papers in renowned international and national journals and conference proceedings. She is an avid speaker and a great motivator and has invited at various national and international forums. Teaching and research are her passion, and administration is her interest. Ma'am is a role model for all the students and faculty members. Ma'am has been awarded with various honorary awards for her exemplary vision and leadership. To name few, a national level AICT Young Teacher Career Award, with a grant for pursuing advanced research in the area of Hindi speech recognition, state level Best Teacher Award, national level Best Engineering Teacher Award by ISTE, International Econs Education Excellence Award, Vidya Saksharta Abhiyan Award by Honorable Minister of HRD, Government of India for spreading digital literacy, and Ambassador of Peace by Universal Peace Federation, and many more appreciation letters from various state and central government for exemplary performance for her and her outstanding contribution in the field of technical education. With her impeccable and religious efforts, the visibility and the brand value of university has also improved significantly. To name few of the significant awards uh, are the university has been ranked in the band 101 to 200 for quality education and gender equality by prestigious World Times Higher Education Impact Ranking 2021. University also been conferred as University of the Year Award in the 7th FICCI Higher Education Excellence Award. Also, university has won University Excellence Award at Vigyan Bhavan in Indian Engineering Conference Celebration 2021, E-Learning Excellence Award for Academic Digitization. University also ranked 16th for the entrepreneurial spirit by Woody, that is World University Ranking Impact, Real Impact. Also, university being ranked second in the ARIA ranking 2020 and in the band performer in the year 2021. And university has been rated as diamond rated university by QS Gauge. We all inspire by your gracious presence in this event, ma'am. It is my honor to call upon our Honorable Vice Chancellor, IGDTOW, Dr. Amita Dev, to address the gathering and share her valuable insight.
Thank you very much, Rahul, for very generous introduction. At the outset, let me wish all the women a very happy Women International Day. As we all know, women worldwide continue to live in societies that provides them unequal opportunities to succeed. It's not only in India. In many parts of the world, women are less valued than men, and at times their rights are violated, leaving them with little recourse. But when I look at the positive side, we do see progress in many important dimensions, such as increased participation in the economy and leadership globally. Such progress gives us definitely hope that societies today are less tolerant of inequality and injustice than past generations. But unfortunately, progress across countries and regions is unequal, and in some parts of the world, women are seeing worsening conditions, especially when it comes down to violence against them. Harnessing the power of innovation to transform the life of women in the developing world is an idea whose time has come. Never before has the world experienced such dynamic change in technology, economies, and societies as it is today in the century. Innovation through new ideas, products, and practices increasingly is seen as a force for social change. At the same time, there is a growing consensus that empowering the millions of women who live in poverty is essential, both their intrinsic human rights and broad benefit for the global development and economic growth. An increasing wide range of institutions, from business, civil societies, and government, has committed resources and political capital to promote women empowerment. While this goal has been a challenge to realize in the past, the current convergence of commitment and shifting paradigms provides an unprecedented opportunity to forge new alliances and unleash innovation to achieve women empowerment and gender equality goals, which have proved difficult to realize. In fact, the 2030 SDG, founded by the principle of leaving no one behind, calls for transformative shifts, integrated approaches, and innovative solutions to calm the structural barriers to sustainable development, innovation, and technology provide unprecedented opportunities to reach those who are almost likely to be left behind. Planet 50-50 by 2030. Step it up for gender equality. It is a very bold vision and will require innovative approaches by all partners, stakeholders involved. Innovation presents a very particularly exciting and even necessary pathway for seizing the present moment and achieving the goals of women empowerment and gender equality. Never before has the world experienced such dynamic changes in technology, economies, and societies. Innovation in the form of processes, products, services, technology, and practices is a force for social change. In fact, if we look at Government of India initiatives, Government of India has identified ending violence against women as a very key national priority, which resonate with the SDGs of UN on gender equality.
Sir, I think there is issue at ma'am's end.
Yes, yes, Rahul, I can see. We can call ma'am, no, I guess.
Yes, sir.
And skill development, especially when it comes down to gender diversity. A recently organized exhibition, which was Business Blaster Expo 2022, even I looked into it. In the events, there were around 126 teams from the government schools of Delhi, in which 331 participants were girls and 439 participants were boys. So, girls' participation, I'll say immense participation in the expo, where the girls from the government school girls of the class 11th and 12th were participating, and the type of creativity and innovation which they have demonstrated, actually, it has taken everyone for a surprise. Every visitor was thrilled by their active participation and, I must say, innovative participation. Many women entrepreneurs are showing their presence today in startup ecosystem of India today as well. As an entrepreneur, Falguni Nair, promoter and chief executive officer of Nykaa in India, she is the richest self-made women promoter with a net worth of 7.7 billion US dollars. This also makes Nair the second wealthiest woman promoter in the country. According to calculations by Business Standard, Nair is now country's 23rd wealthiest promoter. It is well known innovation, technology, and entrepreneurship. They are the engines for advancing gender equality and women empowerment by increasing women access to education and socio-economic opportunities. In turn, empowered women have also become the potential to benefit these sectors by providing needed skill and talent, as well as new markets which could unleash huge economic potential. In the same pattern and lines, we at Indira Gandhi Delhi Technical University of Women are also taking huge practices and best practices to promote women education, women empowerment, and women enlightenment. As rightly said, you educate a man, but you educate a woman, you educate a generation. We at IGD2W are making beginnings to ensure that India has a knowledge society and a knowledge economy by empowering the women of our country through education in engineering, science, architecture, and technology, which is underlined with social, cultural, and human values. By providing young women with higher learning, IGD2W is performing one of the most important tasks for society. Definitely, you will agree with me, one cannot think of well-informed society until its women are educated. We at IGD2W are continuously striving to empower our students because we strongly believe in this philosophy, and enlightened women is a source of infinite power. With these note, I extend once again my best wishes to all the women on this International Women Day. For women students, I envisage a very promising and successful professional career. My flights of fancy would reveal to foresee all the young girls in the guise of Savitri Phule, Pratibha Patil, Kalpana Chawla, Vineet Jain, Priya Parul, Suchi Mukherjee, Anisha Singh, and a lot other women luminaries who have left their indelible footprints in the history of our nation. Thank you very much for this invite. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am, for your motivational words, which always inspires us, and I'm sure students must have inspired and will come out to be better versions of themselves. Now, I would like to welcome and introduce Professor Ranu Gadi ma'am, Dean Research and Director IGD2W Innovation Foundation. Dr. Anu Gadi ma'am is professor in Department of Applied Sciences and Humanities, IGDTUW. She is presently holding the dual responsibility of Dean Industrial Research and Development and Dean Research and Consultancy, along with being the Director of Innovation Foundation. She did her master's and PhD from IIT Roorkee and pursued postdoctoral fellowship at Environmental Science Division, Lancaster University, Lancaster, UK. Ma'am has been in academics for more than 20 years and has research experience of more than 29 years. Her research areas are atmospheric chemistry and climate change, characterization and source appropriation of atmospheric aerosols, biomass burning emissions, and many more. She has successfully executed many research projects funded by external agencies. She has authored and co-authored more than 100 research papers in international referred journals of repute and national and international conferences. Ma'am, I welcome you again for the event.
Thank you so much, Dr. Arora and Mr. Rahul. Honorable Vice Chancellor, ma'am, deans, heads of the departments, faculty members, staff, and our dear students, I feel immensely delighted to celebrate International Women's Day in the presence of so many amazing young women of our nation. What a beautiful day it is. I feel an aura of positivity and energy around. I'm so happy to be here and share my heartfelt thoughts with you all. As we all know that since 1911, on this day, womanhood is celebrated around the globe to honor the amazing women existing today and the remarkable ones human race has ever witnessed. Everything became official in 1975 when the United Nations recognized all the efforts of the brave women protesting against basic rights at various locations. Since that time, and since then, International Women's Day became a theme to celebrate women in the society. See, I have so many women I look up to. My mother, my sister, my teachers, my students. Every woman motivates me in one way or the other. Women have been out there, whether it is managing homes, corporates, or even traveling to space. We have so many examples. Mother Teresa, who dedicated her life making lives of the children better. Kalpana Chawla, the first Indian to go to the space. I would say, do not go far. I'm sure you would have women in your lives who continue to be your inspiration. She can be in your home or amongst the crowd today. About 150 years ago, women did not enjoy what we have today. They did not have the right to vote, access to medical facilities, property rights, a seat in the parliament, being paid equally, or even basic right to education. The list will go on and on. Things did not change with a blink of eye or by waving a magic wand. Changes occurred slowly with the relentless efforts of women as well as men coming and fighting together for women empowerment. A huge applaud for all men who help us be a better version of ourselves. Today, many women have access to education, healthcare, legal systems, and freedom to win bread, as well speak their minds. However, there's a long way to go and some work to do. We need to break the barriers of stereotypes and gender biases. We need to make our boys learn how to cook and motivate our girls to be the architect of their career as well as their life. We need to stop saying, boys, don't cry, or girls, don't talk that way. We need to stop fitting in a box. You can't change the world, but you can change one thought. Do that now. Today, we should celebrate women and their innovations in every field. They are effective and powerful leaders and change makers. Improving the status of women enhances their decision-making capacity at all levels, in all spheres of life. With gender equality, a sustainable future and an equal future would be easier to achieve. We women should cherish the blessing of being a woman. I know at times in life we feel that we are the only ones who have to, make sacrifices or have to let go their feelings and dreams for others linked to us. But it is just the result of the power the God has given us. God created the feminine creature as a symbol of utmost affection that not only leads the perfect life for herself, but also lays down the strongest base for others' dreams as well. Ayn Rand, a famous philosopher, in one of her books wrote, "The question isn't who is going to let me, it's who is going to stop me." Remember, nothing can stop you but your perceptions. You are at equally free to fly, to dream, and to do anything you aspire. So please follow your dreams. So, to everyone in the great audience, I implore you to continue to challenge yourself and try to question your worldview. Dig down deep into the feelings you are passionate about and to never let go of your hunger for knowledge and excellence. There is no limit to what you can achieve, but the change you would want to see in the world. Once again, happy Women's Day to all you courageous and incredible women. Each one of you has a perfect special role that you are playing in many lives. And I leave you with one afterthought. Today, when you are about to retire, to sleep, pause and think of one powerful woman in your life and the impact she made in your life. How can you celebrate her? Could it just be by saying a simple thanks? If yes, do it ASAP. With this note, I thank you all for joining us and listening to the wonderful speakers we had on board today in the forenoon session. And sorry for, postponing this session due to some official commitments this side. Thank you so much. Wish you all a great day ahead.
Thanks to you, ma'am. Thanks to you for sparing your valuable time, ma'am. We were waiting for you.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
Thank you,
My
ma'am.
pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you again, ma'am, for sharing your views. And now I would like to welcome and introduce Professor Jasdeep Kaur Dhanwar, Dean Academics and Director IGDTOW Innovation Foundation. Professor Jasdeep Kaur Dhanwar is BE, MTech and PhD in Low Voltage Analog Design, took over as Dean Academic Affairs in 2021 and Training Placement Office in 2018. Prior to this, ma'am was the head of the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering from May 2015 to 2018. With a keen interest in technology and hardworking in nature, ma'am is a senior member of IEEE, Exicon member of IEEE Delhi Section WIE and Vice Chairperson of 2022 Delhi Section IEEE Electron Device and Society. Ma'am is also the core member of Women in Big Data India chapter, the International Technical Group. She has published in international and national journals and conferences and has guided PhD scholars. As Chief Coordinator of SMDP, Chip to System Design, has headed the team for fabrication of band gap reference circuit. Dr. Dhanwar is the third author cum editor of the reputed B.S. Grewal textbook on higher engineering mathematics, published by Khanna Publishers, Delhi. In 2019, ma'am was selected and participated in International Visitor Leadership Program, fully sponsored by USA state federal government on advancing women in STEM fields from October 7 to 25, 2019. Ma'am is on the panel of many government and NGOs. Ma'am, I would again welcome you and request you to share your views on the occasion of International Women's Day.
Thank you so much, Rahul. And thank you so much, the team, for giving me this opportunity. And with this, very good afternoon to respected Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Amita Dev, Deans, the heads of the department, my dear colleagues, my dear students, and all other participants who have joined here, the Incubation Foundation for celebration of International Women Day on this national workshop of women empowerment and enlightenment in the ecosystem of innovation advancement. I know everyone is eagerly looking forward to the announcement of the competitive event results. So I'll just take this opportunity to wish everyone a very happy Women's Day with men who are all over here. And since morning, I was listening to the great, thoughts by Miss Nimisha, Miss Soumya, and Rona. So it was very, good to hear what the corporates are also looking forward to. In the university, yes, I am so happy to be a part of this Women University. Today is a day I feel we are here to celebrate the success of all women with men and the failures also, because the failures are now we can consider as good feathers in our cap, which are so very important in life. So we are here to celebrate the imperfectness also with our open arms. It's really very, heartfelt to see that parents nowadays are giving equal opportunities to their daughters. And we have girls over here in IGDTUW doing so good. Today we had a brief, I think, newspaper clipping also featuring IGDTU girls having international foreign offers. So it's happy to see that the parents are also equally giving opportunity to ensure that they're economically independent. And this is going to result in their participation in the betterment of the society. Regarding the topic of today, innovation advancement, I personally feel the two important traits that women are born with naturally, that is multitasking, and the second is sensitivity. These are the two traits which can take the young innovators for working on good ideas. And we are looking forward to what does the result say for what you all have submitted. And this is what a woman is going to succeed in the STEM careers. And you will be taken forward to more innovative ideas for the betterment of the society. So my dear budding technocrats, entrepreneurs, it's important, that you should never stop learning and should keep on trying to upgrade your knowledge and skill set. After all, knowledge is power. And as a contribution to the society and nation, just try to invite and encourage more girls and women to take up STEM education and careers. So with this, I would just like to wish all the best for your further career. And I would end with a small quote that believe that there are no limitations, there are no barriers to your success, and you will be empowered and you will achieve it. Have a good day ahead. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Jasdeep ma'am. Jasdeep ma'am and Ranu Gadi ma'am both are the dean of our university and the strong pillar working for our university and also for Innovation Foundation. Ma'am, one quick question if I can ask from both of you. Means being a woman in this particular journey of your career, where you have reached today now, you are inspiration for our young girls. Ma'am, any challenge which came to your career and how did you overcome that? Ranu Gadi ma'am first.
The most important point which I feel I should be telling my students is to keep a balance between the personal life and the professional life. You just can't leave the professional life because of the personal requirements. So one has to keep, manage the priorities properly at every phase of life. You can't just leave your education and profession one side. Keep a balance. Try to keep a balance with all the activities in life, and try to fruitfully utilize a day. It's a long day, so if we try to fruitfully utilize the day, so a day is quite a long day. So one has to set the priorities in a day, how she has to manage the complete day and the complete time ahead. So I don't think any of us is not capable of doing it. Everybody of us is full of potential and full of energy. The only thing is channelizing the energy to a proper direction when it is required. Thank you so much.
Jasdeep ma'am.
Just to what Professor Rano said, another thing just to add to it is, I feel everyone needs to be honest to your own self. So once you're honest to yourself, you'll be able to see that everything falls in line, your priorities also fall in line, and you are honest in your dealings, so everything happens in the flow. So I always tell the students in the training and placement department also and others, they all need to be honest to themselves and then be little sensitive to the requirements of others also. Should not be too self-centered, and things will fall in the line. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for sharing the key of your success. Rahul, we can move for announcing the result.
Sure. So we move forward to the moment all students must be waiting for.
Yes.
The award ceremony.
I request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, ma'am, to kindly announce the name of the winners. First, we will go for the category Best Women Entrepreneur at Startup Stage. Rahul, we can go for this. Yes. This is the first category.
And
Honorable Vice Chancellor, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, Rahul.
Now, finally, the time has come where the students must be eagerly waiting for. I'm sure it must have given tough time to the evaluators also to evaluate which one is the best. But at the same time, finally, the results have to be given. So the third position in the best women entrepreneur at startup stage, it goes to Upasana Engineering Works Private Limited. And the name of the promoter is Miss Upasana. Let's have a big round of applause for Upasana.
Upasana, are you there?
yes,
Upasana?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm here
Upasana,
only.
in 2 minutes time, can you tell us about your startup and initiative?
Yes, sir. First of all, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for awarding me with this honorable award. I am Upasana, a student of IGGTOW only in second year. I'm pursuing BTech in Information Technology. So my company is about dealing in technology. Like what I have observed is that students, specifically girls, aren't going into the ordering, selling, and leading or vendorship type of industry. So it was my idea of making an woman-oriented vendoring industry. So what my company does is it deals in CNC machines. So I am setting up the CNC machine, on which the girls will be performing particular tasks. So what my company is doing is it's providing the design
Great,
and
Upasana.
making
Great.
design
Any of
of
the
the
participants?
demand of.
Yeah, great, Upasana. Upasana, any of the participants who
Uh,
want to join or who want to know more about Upasana's engineering works company, they can contact Innovation Foundation or directly to the Upasana. Thank you, Upasana. Thanks.
Ma'am, with your permission, may I
Thank you
just
so much.
add over here?
Yes,
Upasana,
please. Yeah.
Upasana is in second year IT department, and she was the one with her team during pandemic times when online classes were going on. She was the one visiting the campus, I think connecting with Professor Rano and other department people and ensuring that things are smooth. And she was eager to learn. I think that is the time when she came forward. So it is a commendable effort, having her own company.
Definitely, ma'am.
She's in second year.
Great,
Congratulations,
Upasana.
Quite
Upasana.
hard towards it.
Yeah,
Definitely.
keep this
Thank you
fire
so
on
much, ma'am.
and
Thank you so much,
ensure
ma'am.
that you learn. Good, very good.
Thank you, ma'am.
Second position.
The second position in the category of startup stage, it goes to Rahi Wellness Services Private Limited, and the name of the promoter is Kshitija Shekhar. Heartiest congratulations.
Kshitija or Shivangni, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I hope you can hear me.
Please, Shivangni, tell us about yours in 2 minutes only, please. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. First of all, thank you to VC ma'am and Jasdeep ma'am. They have always supported me and Rahi throughout our journey, and we are very thankful for that. And thank you to Innovation Foundation for incubating us and giving us all the support. In the last 2 years, we have achieved small steps towards perfection, I would say. We were the Cisco Incubator winners. We are right now under App Skill Academy by Google. And something we recently did was gave opportunities to 2 women who are restarting their career in technology. They are both 35 years old, and they have had a gap of 10 years in their career, and we give them an opportunity. What Rahi does is provide therapy and more mental health support to everyone who is looking for that. And we are doing our best to destigmatize mental health. We have impacted more than 10,000 people globally, and we are continuing to do that through our tech initiatives or through therapy and our psychological initiatives. So thank you, and thank you so much for this honor. We are really thankful for all of you.
Shivangi, and congratulations.
Thank
She
you, sir.
even bagged the
Now this
alumni
Rahi
award.
team has become, Rahi team has become, ma'am, the favorite team by Neeraj Gulati and the company. And when they are going to conduct the business master seniors, and they are given as their first choice.
Yes, yes, I realized they are doing exceedingly well, and they're in the eyes of Neeraj Gulati, who has really appreciated their work. So heartiest congratulations and keep the good work going.
Thank you, ma'am.
Now the time for the announcement of the first position at the startup stage, and it goes to Milantas Private Limited, and name of the promoter is Dr. Meena Mishra. Heartiest congratulations to Dr. Meena.
Dr. Meena, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, ma'am. You can please switch on your camera. Yeah.
Yeah. So good afternoon, everyone. A happy Women's Day, Honorable Vice Chancellor ma'am and Professor Dr. Ranu Gadi and Jasdeep Dhanova ma'am and the other distinguished luminaries present and my dear fellow attendees. Thank you so much for bestowing me with this honor. It gives me a lot of encouragement to move ahead. Just a brief about what we do. We at Milantas have a unique patented published technology known as 4D brain analysis, wherein we are trying to objectively and scientifically guide our young students from standards 8 to 12 as to their right careers and what is their inherent traits, what are their inherent behavioral personality, and what is the potential and where do they stand at present. And this is, we also guide them to fill this gap, how to fill this gap and reach their potential. So this is a very scientific and innovative solution that we have, and it lends a lot of objectivity. So the accuracy of our technique goes to around 95%, as compared to the 80% accuracy that we have with the traditional tools that we have. So we aim to move ahead with the help of Untitled Foundation. Thank you so much for giving all the encouragement.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Ma'am, Dr. Meena and his team has also applied for the Shark Tank TV television competition also. And most probably they will be there in the second series, ma'am. Right, Dr. Meena?
Yes, we did apply. So we're keeping the fingers crossed.
Anyway, good luck to you, Dr. Meena.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Now coming to the second category, that is result for 3 best women entrepreneur at idea stage. First, we will be announcing the name of the third winner, that is third position.
Yeah, in the category of the 3 best women entrepreneurs at idea stage, the third position, it goes to Neogozi AI, Miss Pooja Gera. Heartiest congratulations, Pooja.
Congratulations, Pooja. Rahul, can we have the video
Yes,
of
sir.
Pooja's? Yes.
She is another promising girl, Pooja Ghera from IT.
And you know, ma'am, when I first met her, I think 1 or 2 years back, I met her along with her mother. She wanted to start something.
Market that understands negotiation aims to enhance the online e-commerce space by offering a better experience that is closer to the no interest facts about offline supermarkets that we noticed are number one, the item is similar, so you have a high chance of being bought together, and stacked shelves are closer to one another. Number two, there is a staff relevant at all times to help you find what you're looking for and notify you about new items. We utilized all these tasks to create a smart box powered by machine learning. The first API that we created
The time constraint, we are not playing the whole video. We have just given the idea about their, innovative ventures they are going to establish soon.
We can come to the second winner.
Yeah, the second winner in the category, it goes to the team ProServe, and name of the promoter is Priyanshi Gupta. Heartiest congratulations, Priyanshi.
Rahul, can we have a small introduction for
Yes, sir.
Hello, myself Priyanshi Gupta. I am from Indira Gandhi Delhi Technical University for Women. I am in Mechanical and Automation branch, and today I'll be presenting my idea of ProServe. So let's start.
Rahul, we can come to the first winner.
Yes, sir.
The, the first position for the woman entrepreneur at idea stage, it goes to Webb's Vehicle Fitness, ensuring bias setup. And the name of the promoter is Yashika Bell.
Congratulations, Yashika. Yes, Rahul, we can have a small introduction.
Yes, sir.
Losing millions of lives due to the pandemic. Do you think that we can afford?
Yes, Rahul, we can come to the next category.
Yes.
And the result of next category, I request Ranu Gadi ma'am to announce the names of the winner. Ranu Gadi ma'am, are you there? Yes, Ranu Gadi ma'am, are you there?
Okay. Yeah, my network went down. The third position in this category goes to Miss Priyanshi Gupta from Indira Gandhi Delhi Technical University for Women. A round applause for her.
Priyashi, congratulations.
So
Rahul,
can
we
we?
have a small clip?
Yes, sir.
और डेली हर बोलो कि हमें से निकाल
Yeah, Rahul, we can come to the second winner.
Yeah. The second position in this category, shall I announce the awards?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yeah. The second position in this category goes to Miss Shalini Avasthi from Galgotias University. Is she there? A big round of applause for her.
Congratulations, Shalini. Ma'am, in this platform, we will not be able to communicate with them because they are not in the list of the panelists. But yes, yeah, she's there, ma'am. She has written in the chat box.
Okay, good. Congratulations, Shalini Avasthi. And that's good that you participated here.
Yes, Rahul, we can move towards winner, the first winner, first rank.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. The first position in this category goes to Miss Akanksha Bharadwaj from Indira Gandhi Delhi Technical University for Women. Heartiest congratulations, Akanksha.
Congratulations,
there?
Akansha. Akansha, are you there?
Respected judges, and my dear friends, I am Akansha to present before you my views on the problem faced by women and their possible solution. Yatra nal yasmi, pujyante ramante stati devata, meaning women are honored, divinity blossoms. The shlok highlights the importance of women in society. However, the strong fondness for son starts the woman's struggle even before her birth. With the pre-existing gender inequality, many of who are born face discrimination in all walks of life. Even today, women are in a near constant state of subjugation, physically, socially, and politically. I have categorized my view under three L's: learning, labor, and leadership. If you educate a man, you educate an
Congratulations to all the participants and also to all the winners. Thanks to Ranu Gadi ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, moving towards the end of the event, I would like to welcome and introduce Professor Arun Sharma, sir. Professor Arun Sharma is presently working as founder head of Department of Artificial Intelligence and Data Sciences in IGDTW. Sir is also Dean Examination Affairs and Managing Director, Untitled Foundation. His area of interest include machine learning, software engineering, soft computing techniques, and big data. With a span of 25 years of his professional career, Professor Arun Sharma sir has published more than 100 papers in FCI, FCIE, Scopus, and other journals and conferences. Sir is senior member of IEEE and life member of Computer Society of India. With his visionary perspective and knowledge expertise, he has delivered a number of invited talks on machine learning, soft computing, software engineering at various institutions and universities. In 2018, he was awarded by CSE for his significant contribution. Without further waiting, I would like to call upon Professor Sharma sir to give vote of thanks.
Good afternoon to Honorable Vice Chancellor, Deans and other attendees. And thank you, Dr. Arora and Mr. Rahul for making me the part of this wonderful event and asking me to extend vote of thanks on this great occasion of International Women's Day to celebrate for the achievements of women and the strengths to fight with whatever comes in their way. Though it should not be a single day which needs to be celebrated for this noble purpose. Every day is a Women's Day. So it should be in our blood, in our culture to respect women, to work with them for their empowerment, enlightenment for gender equality every day. Today, women of all ages dare to challenge the odds and the orthodox mindsets of the society. Women choose to challenge, and that's why we have Indra Nui, Sushma Swaraj, Kiran Majumdar Shaw, Chitra Ramakrishnan, and so many other role models for all of us. A big salute to all the women who played a key role in our lives. It's a day to be dedicated to celebrate the success of our mother, our sisters, daughter, my students, and all those lovely women who guided us in one or the other way, working throughout their life without a stop and without any day off so that their families can live a life of comfort and ease. It is a task that requires divine strength to bear, sacrifice, and give. Today, we interacted few role models who pursued their dreams and excelled in their career because of their hard work, persuasion, and zeal to do the things differently. They talked about financial independence, they talked about entrepreneurial journey, they talked about balancing work and home, they talked about gender equality, sustainable future, and so many other burning issues pertaining to women empowerment. Well said by Ms. Una Matra, founder and director, People Talent International, one of the eminent speaker today. Whatever experience I'm having is the past and need to look for the present, and most importantly is the future. So humble, so down to earth, all of us are highly motivated with her accomplishments and achievements. Thanks, Runa, for sharing your thoughts and experiences with all of us. I'm extremely thankful to Ms. Nimisha, founder Good Life Projects, and Ms. Soumya Moni, director WIBD India, for sharing their thoughts on women empowerment with their entrepreneurial journey with us. Thank you, Professor Jasdeep Kaur and Professor Ranu Gadi, who are the strong pillars of this university. Both of you are the real examples of balancing between greater responsibilities at work front and the personal front. There is so much to learn from you both. Thanks for being the part of this event and for sharing your thoughts today. Who can be a better role model other than our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Mrs. Amita Dev, who is known for her utmost sincerity, hard work, and dedication to bring this university to a newer heights at national and international level. Every day, university is being awarded with the recognitions, accolades, MOUs, and the awards at national and international level. And the only inspiration for all of these is our Honorable Vice Chancellor, ma'am. I think there cannot be a better person than her with whom the celebration of Women's Day can be organized. Thank you, ma'am, for being with us on this day, in spite of your extremely busy schedule these days. I'm thankful to IGD2W Unvision Foundation team, Dr. V.K. Arora, Mr. Rahul Sachdeva for arranging this beautiful event so well. Thank you. Last but not the least, I'm thankful to all the winners of various activities and the participants who attended this event with greater enthusiasm to celebrate Women's Day. Thank you all and wish you all a great day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And we from Unvision Foundation, we all are highly grateful to you, the managing director of Unvision Foundation, for always support and all kind of things which we require anytime. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Professor Arun. Thank you, Dr. Ranu Gadi. Thank you, Team Innovation Foundation. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, to all the participants, I have posted the link for the feedback as well as attendance for issue of certificate. All are requested to fill the same before leaving. Certificate will be sent over the email. To all the award winners, there is a separate link for you from where you can download your certificate of achievement. For distribution of prize, I will be communicating with you later on in a day or two.